Hey everybody, welcome to Guestx, the guest engagement webinar Jamboree. My name is Emily. I am a marketing manager here at SweetPad. I'll be your moderator for today. As a reminder, Guestx consists of 5 different webinars, and you can attend any webinar of your choice this afternoon using the same link that you received via email, and you can come and go with this link as you like. So you should also remember to check the lineup schedule on the Guestx webpage as well. We will also be recording the whole event, so you will each receive a copy of the recording in the next few days. Today, we will start with Moritz von Petersdorf-Kampen, the co-founder and managing director of SweetPad, for the Introduction to Guestx and the Trends in the Industry webinar. A brief but insightful first session, which will take about 15 minutes in total. So now, without further delay, I will pass it over to you, Moritz, and everybody enjoy the webinar.
Great. Thank you very much. Also, a big welcome from my end to everybody for joining from all over the world. You guys can see my screen now. Is that? Yeah, perfect. Yeah, once again, welcome and thank you very much for joining. I'm excited about hosting our first Guestx event this time, and very excited about all the different webinars that are coming up. I think it's going to be an interesting day, and I'm very, very happy to get started with a 15-minute overview of major industry trends. Now, obviously, in 15 minutes, we won't be able to cover all and everything, and we can only take a quick glimpse into a certain number of topics. And that's the idea for today. Take a couple of topics, do a quick dive into that, maybe give you some hypotheses for your own decision making when it comes to digital solutions in the hospitality industry, and basically also giving you guys an outlook of how we see the world here at SweetPad, so that you can make up your mind further down the line with regards to your own digitization strategy. But obviously, digitization is not just a thing in itself, but it should also be adjusted to your overall strategy, which is why I think the first major trend that we're going to get started with is a bigger point that can only be enhanced and supported with digitization. One of the things that many of you are struggling with more and more is obviously the fact that it gets harder and harder to find the right qualified people. And we see more signs and notices like this one. Hotels these days are often unable to operate their hotel, to operate their bar, to operate their room service, simply because it got so much harder to find the right people. And that led to the trend that hoteliers needed to reduce services, basically due to lack of staff. I think historically, if we want to put it like that, still from COVID, many also, and don't get me wrong on this one, kind of used it as an opportunity to be able to reduce certain service levels, that the sauna is closed because of COVID. And some maybe took this a little bit too far and kept it to an extent as part of their mindset that it can be okay not to provide certain services. So I think there are different scenarios. There are the cases where you simply cannot do it because you don't have the people to operate certain areas of your hotel. And there are cases where hoteliers are saying, well, I might get away with not providing certain services. What I would like to do today is basically a wake-up call for hoteliers that have services they are not providing, but that they could be providing. Because I think in many ways, those additional services are what is setting your hotel apart from other competitors and from other businesses, in particular apartments and Airbnb. Because quite frankly, if a guest decides to go for an Airbnb, they get a place without a lot of service, but what they do get is usually a pretty good bang for their buck when it comes to square meters of a certain place. So usually the amount of money that they have to spend on a certain place can be the same of a hotel, but usually what they get would be more space and certain other services, maybe an additional room or something like that. But the reason why many guests decide to go to a hotel are the kind of services that hotels are providing. And by taking away services, obviously, we're taking away some of the superpower of our industry, which is to be able to provide the guest with more than an Airbnb does. Obviously, it will also lower certain revenue streams, leading to long-term financial impacts in hoteliers' plannings. And I think that's something that many of you are struggling with right now, looking at budgeting season. How much should we actually be budgeting for room service, for instance, in the next couple of months? Because it got a lot harder to forecast it, and many hotels are asking themselves, even if my guests want it, will I be able to provide it? Yes, we have a positive impact if we do things like that through lower labor costs, but I think in the long run, it's really something that you need to watch very, very closely if you want to go down the track of providing less services to your customers. If you decide to do that, there are maybe more consequences than just the revenue streams in the long run. It might also be detrimental to your positioning towards or within the market. That being said, I think there are certain scenarios where it can make a ton of sense to think about reducing services for your customers without them being angry about it. And I think one great example of that is what we internally call the green option. And this is now, in this case, you can see it how we set it up, but there are obviously also lots of different ways to set it up. Basically, the idea behind the green option is to ask the guest if they'd be willing to waive their daily housekeeping in order to get their room cleaned maybe every other day, or maybe not at all during their 2 or 3 day stay. Because let's face it, at home, at least talking about myself, I'm also not cleaning my room every single day. Now, that is also something that many guests agree with. And we see in our numbers that there's roughly 1/3 of guests that are willing to skip their daily room cleaning. And yes, reducing services for the guests is obviously something that we need to watch. But if the guests are voluntarily saying, hey, I actually don't need this service, I don't need somebody to come into my room every single day, I think it's completely different to a situation where a guest would like to go to the bar but can't go there and can't get their drink simply because nobody's there to help them. For that, there are also solutions and services out there, like mobile ordering, for instance, at the bar, that you need less staff to take the order, or a device that you can click and somebody comes in order to take your order. Also for room service, there are obviously ways with technology around it by introducing external partners to do that. So also technology can help you when you're reducing your services to still kind of keep that service level as high as you can by being smart about technology. But I think the best service reduction is really where the guest is telling you that they don't need a certain service. So that's one thing that's going to stay there. Or basically the reduction of services, I think, is a major trend that we are facing, and the industry will need to decide, or everybody of us, every hotel will need to decide, am I going to go down the low service track and going to compete on price in the long run, or on design, or on other areas? Or do I want to have more of a high touch to my business? If that's my strategy, my clear recommendation would be to only reduce services where the guest is voluntarily saying, I don't need certain services going forward. That is industry trend number one that I think we'll be covering in some of the sessions today as well. Let's talk about industry trend number two. And this is really one where I'm surprised that it's still not more dominant than it is right now. Now, maybe some of you now think, oh, well, we've seen mobile phones opening doors, and I think you're right. But I think what most of you haven't seen and haven't tried yourself is doing this with the Apple or Google Wallet directly. Most of the lock solution, or most of the digital door opening solutions we see these days, are powered through apps or are powered through mobile websites, where the guest first needs to download an app, then authenticate, then they get their key into the app, and then they can open the door. Now, those of you who've tried that know that getting a guest to download a hotel app is already pretty hard. So usually those download rates are around 10%. It's a bit easier if it's also the key. So then we see more guests adopting it. But I think with the change that Apple actually already did last year, by taking or by allowing the Apple Wallet to be hosting that key as well, our guest journey in the hospitality industry will get closer to the guest journey that we already know from airlines. So basically what's going to happen in the long run is you're going to check in online, probably on a web page. And once you've done that, the hotel will send you your key via email, and you're going to store that in your Apple or Google Wallet. And once you've done that, when approaching the hotel, it will already pop up and you can go directly to your room and open your room by just using the Apple Wallet. There's no need to download an app anymore, and there's no need to go to a certain web page whenever you want to open the room. You'll just hold your phone right against the door and it'll go open. Now, that is obviously from a guest perspective, from a guest experience point of view, a fantastic development, and that's going to make it a lot easier to use those digital solutions to open doors. What it will mean, though, for the hospitality industry, that is that it's going to be much harder to distribute your app, because in the past, the app was maybe the one big reason for some of your customers to say, hey, I'm going to download the app because then I don't have to worry about keys anymore. This big thing is going to go away, as in the long run, it's going to go into the wallet, similar to how it's already happening to many airlines. Yes, if you're traveling every week with Lufthansa or any other airline, you will probably have their app on your device. Same is probably true for the Hiltons and Marriotts of this world. But if you're switching every once in a while because you go to different places, it makes way more sense to have the airline barcode just as well as the hotel key in your wallet instead of having that in an app. It's moving slowly, but I think it's going to roll over us in the next 2 years, and we're going to see this change. It's probably one of those changes where it's at the beginning quite slow, but then taking up more speed because it just makes a ton of sense for hotels and obviously for guests as well. Third industry trend is one that everybody's talking about these days. Everything is all about AI. We are wondering, do we need to be worried about what AI can be doing to our businesses, to our personal lives? Is it going to take over? Is it going to dominate the world? You know, there are all those big discussions around it, and I probably don't know more than you guys know about it, so I'm not going to go into those big discussions, which is why I thought I might just give you a very, very practical example of what you can do today. So if you go to OpenAI or ChatGPT today, sign up for an account and take one of the bad feedbacks that you had recently and put it in and ask ChatGPT to come up with a good reply. Because we all know it's super important to come up with good replies when people are commenting on your hotel and when they're commenting on your stay. It's best practice to do that. But you know, it's always a bit of work that we need to put in order to do that well. Now, I did that for you, and I basically took this very, well, bad, rude comment talking about a dirty hotel, rude personnel, check-in took an hour, so many reasons to complain about. And basically what I did is I took that and gave it to ChatGPT, saying that this is the review that we received, and we'd like to have it answered in a friendly way that the guest feels understood. But also keep in mind that the audience for this reply is actually not the guest himself, but it's a broader audience, those people that are going to read it on TripAdvisor going forward. So what did ChatGPT make of it? Let's take a look together, and this is where we go. So thank you for taking the time to share your feedback. We're truly sorry to hear that your experience at our hotel did not meet the high standards we strive for. Please accept our sincere apologies for any discomfort and inconvenience you faced. And then it goes into the different details that the guest was mentioning in their comment, that for cleanliness and room service, we take such matters very seriously. We have discussed comments with our housekeeping team to ensure that our cleanliness standards are consistently met, and so on and so forth. For the delay in check-in, it says, we understand the importance of a smooth arrival experience. We typically ensure a swift check-in process after 3 p.m. For guests arriving earlier, we do our best to accommodate, but occasionally there may be short waiting times, and so on and so forth. I think this is a very decent reply that some of the people in your team might be struggling with on a daily basis, to have that in correct language, to have that without spelling mistakes, to answer those things quickly. I think there are even solutions out there these days that automate this entire process for you so that you only have to approve whatever the AI suggests for you. But I think with help like this, there is no reason not to comment on those kind of feedbacks anymore. And those of you who haven't tried ChatGPT, I really want to invite you to do that today. Give it a thought with one of your feedbacks that you've received over the last couple of weeks and see what it does to it. I think you might be surprised with the answers that you get. And this is just one quick example of how it will enhance your operations. You can get ready for quite a ride, I believe, with regards to other ways of AI enhancing your operations, of enhancing the guest stay. From all I've heard, there are various different things in the making right now. And I think we can look forward to many very, very interesting solutions that will be coming up, combining the hospitality space and AI at the same time. Last but not least, one more trend is more about how we purchase technology. We all know that in the past, we bought software. For instance, when we needed a new property management system, we either got a CD sent or we got a server sent, or it was installed by a team. And that, as we all know, has changed now more and more towards the cloud. So instead of purchasing technology, we started to rent technology. But I think there's a new trend on the horizon right now, and we already see it in various different areas, in various different businesses, and that is that hotels start to pay not on a monthly or on a rental basis, but that hotel starts to pay only when results come in for certain technologies. Let's take the example of a property management system here. So if you have a traditional PMS, and I know many of you still have it, you have a server in your property, you bought that at some point, now you might be paying some monthly fee for the service, but at the end of the day, the software belongs to you. There are also, though, many of you have already switched to a cloud-based property management system. So you had maybe some activation fee, but generally you pay for it on a monthly basis, updates are included, there are all the different benefits of cloud-hosted software. But those of you who went for a cloud property management system sometimes found that those providers are very often asking you to do the payment via their solution as well. And you get a discount on your cloud PMS if you do that. And the reason behind that is that they are taking a cut in your payment processing fees. So instead of charging you a monthly fixed fee for your property, they now actually start charging you whenever they are checking out a guest for you. And this is one thing that we are seeing for the property management systems, but I think we're also seeing it more and more for other systems. Even here at SweetPad, we have adopted to it. So in the past, for our hardware software-based solution, we sold you the hardware and we rented you the software. In some cases, we even rented to you the hardware and the software combined in a bundle. And quite frankly, we still do it because many customers prefer this kind of this way of making business. That being said, though, we've also introduced a performance-based business model, where, for instance, we only charge you whenever the guest is waiving housekeeping, and we get a cut of the savings that you realize there. Or we charge you whenever the guest decides to say, hey, I'd like to add breakfast to my bill. And those are also ways where the suppliers or technology suppliers like ourselves are more in line with the interests of the hospitality industry. Basically, bringing those things together leads to more businesses that combine the shift from buying software to renting software to actually allowing the hotels to buy results, which I think leads to a great alignment between suppliers and hoteliers further down the line. I think 1 or 2 minutes over the 15 minutes that I have, but here we see them again, 4 industry trends that I wanted to share with you as a kickoff for today. Service reduction, which can be great, but we have to be careful with it. The wallet, be it from Apple or Google, will take over the key in the long run. AI is nothing for the long run. I think it's something that you should look at today in order to make your hotel more efficient and in order to enhance your guest experience. And further down the line, but also already happening right now with some more aligned pricing, where hotels actually get what they pay for and don't have to worry about investing into solutions that are then either by their team or by the guest not being used. With performance-based pricing models, you really align the supplier and the hotelier further down the line. And I think all of those 4 things we'll be seeing more of in the next 12 months to come. That's it from my end. I am excited about the rest of the day and looking forward to the next webinars coming up. Emily, back to you.
Thank you so much, Moritz, for the great intro webinar. And thanks to everyone who also just joined us live. We will see you in the next webinar with Les Roches Marbella University this time at 2 p.m. Central European Time. See you later.
Bye, everybody.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome this time to Hospitality Insights 360, Trends, Tech, and the Guest Journey. Once again, my name is Emily. marketing manager here at SweetPad, and I am joined by Julia Krebs, Antonio Gomez, and Susana Garrido from Le Roche Marbella University. This webinar will take about 45 minutes in total. We would really like to hear from you too today, so don't hesitate to ask your questions in the question chat window you see in the control panel, and we will try to answer them during the Q&A session. We will also be recording the webinar, so you will each receive a copy at the end in the next few days. So now I will pass it over to you, Julia. Enjoy the webinar.
Thank you very much, Emily. I'm just going to share my slides. Good. Okay, so the agenda for today would be to just briefly introduce our institution and then also talk a little bit about our exciting program that is called Sparks, that will be done by my colleague Susana Garrido. Then we will jump into the hospitality trends that will be done by Antonio Gomez before we come to digital transformation. That is again Susana's Garrido's part, and then at the very end I will talk a little bit about trend analysis and data. So without any delay, we'll talk a little bit about our institution, Le Roche Marbella.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, SweetPad, for counting on us, for inviting us to be part of this amazing day of, I think, interesting information. And my name is Susana Garrido, and I'm the Director of Digital Learning and Innovation at Le Roche Marbella. So we just wanted to give you a little bit of an overview of what we do and what we are. The school was founded many, many years ago in Switzerland. That was in 1954. And then that was in Switzerland. We have two campuses, one in Switzerland and one in Marbella in Spain. And our campus in Marbella opened in 1995. And in 2006, we had accreditation from the New England Commission of Higher Education. So we are fully accredited by the American credits. Then if we go to the next slide. Yeah. And then in 2020 was a critical point for us, because this is when the whole world was collapsing in a way, and we decided to create a Spark, that is the innovation sphere, it's the innovation department for Le Roche, for both campuses. And just so you have an overview about the school, we have a 16:1 student to faculty ratio. We have a total student population of over 2,500 students, more than 100 nationalities, and we have a mixture of 50% Europe, 12% Middle East and Africa, 11% America, so 20% Asia Pacific. So there's a really, really rich atmosphere and environment that we have here at Le Roche. So just for you to have an overview of where we are and what we do. And SweetPad is actually one of our partners in this innovation Spark area. So I think that now we're just going to go straight, because we have a lot of information. So just let Mr. Gomez go directly with the trends in hospitality.
I guess it's my turn. Pretty good afternoon, everyone. I'm honored to address you today as we delve into the ever-evolving landscape of hospitality. The hospitality industry is undergoing a dynamic transformation driven by technological advancements, changing consumer preferences, and an ever-growing emphasis on sustainability. So my mission today is to shed some light on how these different trends are somehow shaping our beloved industry. So the first trend is clearly the rise of technology that is becoming a driving force, allowing for more control over the services and several aspects of the guest experience. For sure, the future of hospitality looks tech-savvy, and it's gaining significant momentum now. So the traditional customer-facing services are undergoing a major transformation due to the widespread adoption of technology-assisted options, including mobile check-in, contactless payments, voice control, biometrics. So consumers who have become somehow accustomed to unlock their smartphones and laptops using facial and fingerprint recognition will soon expect that same convenience when accessing their hotel rooms. However, we see that this artificial intelligence, the disruptive technology that is somehow revolutionizing the hospitality industry. The artificial intelligence is transforming the hospitality by providing personalized experiences, automating tasks, and mostly optimizing somehow operations. The next on our list is sustainability. Sustainable tourism is not just a rising travel trend. We see that hospitality businesses are increasingly adopting sustainable practices to reduce their environmental impact and also to attract eco-conscious travelers who are now prioritizing staying at environmental responsible accommodations. Eco-consciousness is becoming a priority for hospitality leaders and hotel businesses around the world, considering that water, energy, and food are the three main resources that we need to be managing globally, right? But particularly in the hotel industry. So in recent years, the hospitality outlets have been taking small steps to prioritize the removal of disposable plastics, to eliminate unnecessary paper consumption, and to reduce waste. However, we see that more far-reaching ethical and environmental considerations are shaping decisions made at the hospitality management level, but also within the construction stage, which is quite important, right? So smart energy management systems, water conservation measures, waste reduction programs, and the use of eco-friendly products are now becoming more prevalent in the industry. So harnessing innovation and digital advances provides the industry with opportunities to improve inclusiveness, local community empowerment, and efficient resources management, among some other objectives within the wider Sustainable Development Agenda, the 2031. The corporate social responsibility is now a moral and economic obligation, and it's becoming increasingly important for our customers. Right? So the hospitality companies that are leading the way in social and environmental responsibility are likely to be rewarded with customer loyalty and long-term success. Our next topic, is the main topic for discussion, is what we call the hyper-personalization. With so many options available now, consumers now have a vast range of choices when engaging with the hospitality business. So in this highly competitive landscape, has never been more challenging for hospitality businesses to stand out. Technology is becoming a game changer, and it's rapidly transforming the guest experience, providing new opportunities for personalization, convenience, and efficiency as well. So we see that standardization can no longer be the norm. Instead, customization and specialization may enable increased value creation for hospitality companies that will be able to personalize and tailor services to the needs and preferences of travelers. One key way to gain competitive edge for businesses to improve their personalized guest services. So actually, according to a survey conducted by the marketing tech portal, the 65% of consumers say that personalization will earn their loyalty, while the 63% of them will stop trusting brands that use poor personalization strategies. So considering this competitive environment, it is crucial for hospitality businesses to strike the right balance between digitalization and personalization. It's essential to adopt the right digital tools, but not only that, it's provide exceptional customer experiences on the ground and implement a personalization strategy in the hotels, right? Hotels, now we can collect and analyze vast amounts of data to create tailored experiences for each guest, right? Using data from previous stay, preferences, online interactions, hotels can now better anticipate guest needs and personalize the stay, from customized room amenities to personalized recommendations for activities, dining options. These tailored experiences create a sense of exclusivity for guests. Then the hospitality sector is somehow witnessing a growing trend towards wellness-focused amenities and services. People are increasingly looking for ways to incorporate healthy habits into their lives, and they are also seeking out experiences that promote relaxation, rejuvenation, and stress reduction. In the hospitality industry, this shift is driven by the recognition that health and wellness play a crucial role in enhancing customer satisfaction and loyalty. This trend is now evident in the increasing popularity of wellness hotels, spas, retreats, as well as the growing demand, this is important, for healthy food and beverage in hotels and restaurants. So incorporating healthy and locally sourced food options have become a priority for many hotels, as customers, again, are becoming more conscious about the dietary choices, which is also fostering somehow that idea of a sustainable industry that we mentioned before. Another trend to consider is the experiential travel. this new way of traveling is gaining traction in the hospitality sector. It's somehow revolutionizing how guests interact with the lodging and with the destinations. So hospitality providers are moving beyond simply providing a place to sleep, a place to rest. Instead, they aim to create immersive experiences that are somehow connecting the guest with the local culture and with the surroundings, with the destinations. This includes a variety of unique and tailor-made activities that are somehow crafted to create experiences that are, again, connected with the destinations. So the hospitality providers are now going beyond these traditional services and amenities. They provide experiential travelers with meaningful connections and authentic encounters. By providing these emotional or distinctive experiences, customers can better connect with the hotels, making stronger relationships and somehow fostering loyalty at the same time. Last but not least, the social media platforms have become powerful tools in shaping guest preferences and driving bookings within the hospitality industry. Social media users can now discover new hotels, restaurants, activities, destinations through different user-generated content that is heavily influencing travelers' decision making. Shuffles actually run a survey that showed that 40% of millennials consider whether a place is Instagrammable as the top priority when choosing and booking holiday destinations. So hospitality providers, they cannot ignore this influence that drives bookings and position businesses and destinations. Therefore, it's crucial from a performance perspective that social media strategies are to be included within marketing campaigns. These strategies can leverage partnership to showcase experiences and to create a sense of community that fosters brand loyalty and recognition among customers. If we go move next slide. So we see that the travel industry is constantly evolving and the profile of travelers is changing as well. Today's travelers are more diverse, tech savvy, sustainability minded, and open to new experiences and cultures. Considering all the different trends that we mentioned before and analyzing the behavior of the hospitality industry and the behavior of the demand, our next exercise is trying to identify how travelers will look like. The Economic Times identifies 4 key travel tribes to be dominant in the new future that I would love to share with you. The first one is the traditional memory makers. This group of travelers prioritizes somehow personal connections and creating lasting memories over technological advancement or sustainable practices during their travels. There are predominantly millennials and baby boomers who somehow favor traditional methods and prioritize human interactions. Despite their initial skepticism, they are open to incorporate technology into the travel plans to somehow enhance their experiences. Right? The memory makers, they love to plan. They are meticulous planners that are normally using technology to gather information about the destination, about the accommodations of the activities, to make sure that they make informed decisions and streamline the booking process, right? The next tribe is the excited experientialists. This group of travelers with their mid to high income and flexible working options embrace life as an adventure, right? The motto is you only live once, and they approach every experience with a try it and see attitude. They crave excitement and unpredictability, and they are always on the lookout for new exciting experiences. They're likely to travel spontaneously and are less concerned about planning the trips in detail. Technology for them is an ally and helping them to tailor make the travel plans in an instant, right? Then we have travel tech influence, who are young business travelers, predominantly from the Z and the millennial generations, that are somehow characterized by the technological fluency and forward-thinking outlook. They embrace technology as an integral part of their lives, but their views on the future of technology and travel are not entirely aligned. On one hand, they express a desire to travel sustainably. However, the focus on sustainability seems to be more centered on the modes of transportation they use rather than the accommodations they choose. There is a kind of discrepancy that suggests that young business travelers they may be more concerned about the immediate environmental impact of the travel decisions than the long-term sustainability practices of the hospitality industry. Next are what we call the pioneer pathfinders. This group of thrill-seeking adventurers that are predominantly Generation Z embraces life's fast-paced rhythm and constantly seeks the next adrenaline rush to explore uncharted territories. While they enjoy planning their journeys, they are not afraid to step out of the comfort zone and embrace the unexpected. Unlike the previous generations, this group is more inclined to incorporate sustainability into the travel decisions. So if we can move on the next slide. So now that we have learned more about the new trends and the new look and feel of travelers, and to better understand the current hospitality landscape, I think it's important that we consider as well some challenges that the industry is currently facing, especially because they are somehow becoming drivers of the innovation, and they are shaping how hotels are setting the strategies toward business. Probably the most obvious challenge, and if we have hospitality leaders attending our session, they will start nodding their heads, right? One of the most current critical challenges is staffing, right? The staff shortages have become the new normal for the hospitality industry, and we can see organizations struggling to fill all kinds of positions everywhere. Actually, according to the World Travel and Tourism Council, over 1.2 million jobs in tourism remained unfilled last year within the European Union only. So the adoption of innovative technological and digital solutions can help to overcome staff shortage by improving daily operations, alleviating the pressure on staff, and ensuring that's the seamless work processes, right? On the other hand, and despite this widespread usage, many hospitality operators currently have trouble finding staff with digital skills across many areas of information and communication technology or digital marketing. And research suggests that as many as 1 in 3 hospitality workers have no digital literacy at all. At a time when digital tools can play an important role in helping operators with staff shortages, there is a shortage of the digital professionals. The hospitality business are in need to guard the digital transformation. So across the economy, more broadly, almost 70% of businesses report being held back in digital adoption because of a shortage of tech professionals. And this is an ongoing discussion, especially now that due to the proliferation of different technological solutions, specialized positions in charge of designing the integration of different programs is becoming more relevant. So we actually oversee that CTO positions are to be implemented in the near future. Our next challenge to explore is cybersecurity. It's well known in the industry that the big hotel companies in the world have been subject to cyber attacks in recent years. The Intercontinental Group Hotel, Marriott and Starwood, Hilton, Wyndham, and this is because of the volume of sensitive data they store on the servers, including guest information, financial data, intellectual property. In fact, according to the Trustwave Global Security Report, 13% of all cyber compromises that occur worldwide are suffered by hotels. So poor digital security and privacy may lead to potential legal and regulatory problems. Guest trust and confidence in the hotel and the hotel's reputation are also largely at risk should there be a security breach. So given the current cyber threat landscape, organizations should prioritize prevention while ensuring that sound policies and procedures are in place to limit the cost and damage of successful cyber attacks. Another current challenge for the industry is that globally the economy has seen a fast spike in inflation, especially within the past 2 years, leading to rises in the prices of labor, energy, and all kinds of commodities. The International Monetary Fund expects that this to slow to 4.3% by 2024, but in the meantime, the high cost of living right now is already presenting a challenge for hospitality operators in two different ways. Firstly, the cost of running a business is now greater than they used to be, with everything from food and beverage to staff and gas, electricity rising, right? Then, on the second hand, consumers are also feeling the pinch of increased daily costs, which has somehow led in some cases to a decrease in spending on things like holidays or eating out. Although experts expect the situation to improve over the next 2 years, hospitality operators are already innovating in order to grow and adapt. Right? adjusting prices, offering specials, affordable choices, changing menus, reducing the cost, streamlining and adopting cost-saving technologies. So we see that we are actually moving this way. Last slide. To finalize this topic about how the current trends are shaping the hospitality industry, I would note that given the current state of the hospitality industry and the trends and challenges it faces, it's evident that organizations are somehow embracing innovative technological solutions to enhance operational efficiency, to boost revenue generation, and prioritize exceptional customer experiences. Organizations strive to streamline operations by leveraging technology that improves processes efficiency, reduce cost, minimizes staff workloads, and fosters collaborative work environments. In terms of revenue generation, data and the advent of predictive artificial intelligence are revolutionizing revenue strategies, empowering providers to achieve remarkable financial growth. This newfound knowledge enables them to tailor pricing strategies, optimize occupancy rates, and personalize guest experiences, ultimately leading to increased revenue streams. Predictive artificial intelligence, digital concierge systems, and other solutions are also empowering hospitality providers to deliver personalized experience that cater the unique needs and preferences of each customer. By analyzing guest data such as past booking history, browsing behavior, social media interactions, right? Now organizations can identify individual preferences and recommend tailored services. This personalized approach enhances the guest satisfaction, encourages repeat visits, and fosters positive word of mouth marketing for our properties. So just to finish, right, very quick, my last reflection is that in a constantly evolving travel industry, the advent of emerging technologies and changing consumer preferences is making the travel ecosystem more diverse and at the same time a little bit more complex, right? So it's difficult to predict how customers will look like in the future, basically because travel is about humans and how they think and behave. So from the importance and challenge of sustainability to the need to reassure travelers about the changing role of technology, the only thing that is clear for us is that travel will somehow continue to play a vital role in enriching our lives. That's all from my side. Sorry, I think it's for just being a lot.
Okay, so let's go with now that we understand the trends of the industry. Now, this is, I think that's something that as managers, as professionals, we are always looking into. But at the end of the day, we are managing our business, we are operating our businesses, and the question is, how do we balance the tech and the technical touch and the human touch, no? The tech and the human part of hospitality. So the question is, what do customers still value in a hotel? So this is the main question. So when we don't know exactly out of all the trends what to make out of it, we go back to the root, which is our customers, and let's say, what makes you happy, right? So let's see what makes happy a customer in a hotel on the next slide. Perfect. So it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter whether you look at surveys from before internet, after internet, before COVID, after COVID. Actually, if you compare all of them, mainly they include maybe sustainability is the latest one, but they mostly include the same things that customers value in a hotel. One is in cleanliness, and I saw the review that Moritz shared on the previous presentation, so that's a perfect example. So customers, they appreciate the cleanliness of hotels, the safety policies, a value for money, high quality service, sustainability now, maybe that's the most recent one, personalized experiences, but not too much because otherwise we could be a little bit stuck for customers, that they can be a little bit, okay, it's like we are intruding. And also they want adequate lighting. Example, how many times have you struggled to find the right light switch in a hotel room? I think that's all of us. And also a pleasant scent. So it's not too strong, it's just not too cleany. So this is what still customers value in a hotel. I don't see any robots, I don't see anything like that in here on the list. So how do we put all of this together? Let's go to the next one. All of these checks here are, what are the things, these are the things that customers value in a hotel. So does technology actually support us to provide value in each one of these areas. Does technology or innovation support us in providing cleanliness? Yes, because now we have really cleaning robots, we have better products and maybe better procedures with more automated stuff. Safety policies as well, with everything that we do online and blockchain, that makes everything more safe. Value for money, of course, if we provide good experiences with more options and more information that is easier for clients to access through technology, they get more value for money, and in really the whole product that they get is going to be much better when it's complete with everything else and probably added with technology. Sustainability also can be helped by technology. Personalized experiences, of course, because we gather a lot of data. We will talk about data in a little bit, and that adds to the personalized experiences. The adequate lighting, like I said, so we have sensors in which you don't need to worry about which light switch to look for, but maybe it just turns off when you walk into the room. And the pleasant scent that we can actually, there are devices that help us personalize the scent that the customer gets when they get into a particular hotel. Maybe we can personalize it to whatever they need. So as you see, there's technology to help us provide value in the things that are important for hotels. All right, so let's move on. So how do we decide which innovative solutions we're going to implement in the hotel? So it's easy and it's difficult. The ones that you want to implement are the ones that support the things that are important for customers. So if just not to go into a trend just because the trend is trendy, no. Does it add value to your customers in the sense or in the items that are important for them? Because if it does, then you should add that innovation. If it doesn't, you don't need it. Okay, it's innovation for the sake of innovation, so you don't need it. Just focus on the things, on the solutions that are going to add to these things that are important for your customers. And like I said, this is a generic for the whole industry, hotel industry globally. It doesn't really matter what segment. But if you understand exactly what your segments, what your customers value from your hotel, then see whether those things that they value can be improved and supported by technology. That is the way to decide, and this is how to balance the tech and the human touch. Let's go and see some examples. So some examples that you can use. We have mobile check-in. Why? Because it's easier, because it's faster, because it helps with shortages of staff, and because the little staff that we have can be doing something else more productive and more valuable for the customer instead of filling out the details of the customer, right? So these are the examples that we want to include. Mobile check-in, digital keys. Obviously, you will be surprised on how many hotels still don't have digital keys. Okay, this is why I like adding this. Mobile information, and the mobile information could be in the shape of using chatbots with already designed scripts and answers pre-designed, or now, of course, take advantage of AI. So there are already solutions in the market in which through an AI system, you can have your customers can have a concierge all the time in their mobile phone. So this is very, very useful. And you don't have a person in the reception answering calls, answering the same thing over and over. Okay, maybe the person needs to call, they need to wait, and it's so much easier. So again, adding value to the customer. Mobile ordering and payment, so including the RFID. So these are like the little bracelets that you just pass and they charge, okay, maybe to your room. So include that in your hotel, because again, it's very handy. I don't have to have my credit card, I don't have to sign a receipt to my room. And then one of the most specific things, and probably that sums it all up, of what customers are looking for from tech in a hotel, is that they want to feel like they are at home. So example, if at home I have hyper fast Wi-Fi, if I have sensors, if I have voice control devices, and I have device connectivity, I have personalized content at home, and I have privacy and security, I'm expecting the same from the hotel room. I'm not expecting to see this big fat TV with only 3 channels that I haven't watched since I was 15. So I want to see my content, but I want to see my content from Netflix from my device, but I want to make sure that nobody else can access it. So we just want from a hotel room, I mean from the hotel experience in general, we want value. And the value can be supported and added by technology. And if it's not added, then don't include the technology. And inside the room itself, we are looking for a home away from home. So I'm looking for, I don't want to go back to last century when I go into a hotel room. I want to go to my home or better. And that's the key. I think that's one of the things that we should aim to in hotels. And all right, I think perfect. So the conclusion, to balance the tech and the human touch, the trained eye, that counts. And this is what we try to do in the school and also with the Spark program, which is bringing innovation to the campuses, because we want to train. I think that it's critical that we train professionals to identify what is important in innovation and not, and what is something that adds value and something that's not adding value. So the training means, as you see, is nothing technical. So the training in innovation is actually a change of mindset for managers and employees to have an open mind, to be curious, and to have the critical thinking to decide whether it's good or not. So it's just to have the training on having a clear focus on value. That is the key thing about innovation, having a clear focus on value and identifying, deciding whether it's providing something positive to your company or not. And finally, with all of this technology, there is actually, it's a byproduct. So it just happens like that because we operate with technology. We create a lot of information, whether we want it or not. So it can be a byproduct, so something that just it's created and we leave aside, or we can take advantage of it. Okay, so data is really important. So we're going to show you some examples of what can you do with it and what will you do with it. It's your decision. So this is where my colleague Julia is going to explain what's the role that data plays in all of that. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you, Susanna. Well, I would like to start a little bit bigger, on a bigger picture for just a few minutes before we come back on the data that we collect as a business and as a hotelier. Just to basically start with a tagline of that we know now already that we have over 8 million travel searches in a day, and they obviously come not just from nothing, and they obviously produce already some certain sets of data and insights for us. And some of my favorites to date are the ones that we can see here right now on the screen. For example, the Sheep View, which is a tourism and marketing destination campaign for the Faroe Islands, where they have strapped cameras on the back of the sheep, which they have plenty on the islands, and let them just obviously, let's say, show their day. They walk around, they take videos, they take pictures, and sometimes in the middle of the street, as we can see here, or in the middle of the town, or somewhere in the landscape. And then the people just add this to the Google Street View of the Faroe Islands. So people, when they are researching about the destination and looking into a potential choice to come there, then they can obviously see the sheep view, and it has obviously a humoristic side of things. But it's a very clever way of obviously generating interest and bringing certain amount of demand to a certain destination. Others as well that we can see here right now. One of my favorites definitely is the Battle of the K-Food, which is a campaign for South Korea, where they have clearly said, what are the two things we can today market very visual and best through social media, etc. It's obviously our cuisine, our food, specific food that we obviously have, like for example, kimchi, that is very, very traditional and special to us, as well as our K-pop. So they have done little clips and videos of the typical popular K-pop bands that are participating, or some of the actors. You might recognize the gentleman from a series of Netflix called The Squid Game. So he's like taking people around and showing what Korea has to offer. Again, generating the cultural interest and exchange on how we can transmit certain traditions and generate interest for a particular country. Also, for example, Hong Kong. Hello Hong Kong is a very visual campaign as well. It's very active. It's a lot of dancing, kind of a musical style where different actors and also singers dance through the city and show their favorite spots, and let's say sort of animating people to come and join them in Hong Kong. Or if we say, look, what happens right now in Saudi Arabia, we know all about the Vision 2030, all the focus it lies on the hospitality sector in the country, that they want to shift to become more of a travel hub, and they have obviously a lot of projects there. One of the main ones is the one in Neom, and the Six Senses, the first hotel, has already opened just now on the 1st of November as part of that, which obviously is again a big news for sort of travel enthusiasts and people who would like to explore. So all of these kind of different areas, let's say, bring it together and show us the kind of different types of data and information that we can take from. If we, let's say, start big, and if we scale it down a little bit, we could also say, let's look a bit more only on travel searches, for example. So if we break it down, like we can see here, the 5 top markets for airline searches at the minute and the different rankings of specific destinations and cities. So we have here a clear ranking of the top 5 right now in 2023. We have Bangkok, we've got London, Tokyo, New York City, and of course Dubai. So what does this tell us as well? It shows us the popularity of certain destinations, how they obviously have become more popular again. I mean, Bangkok and London were sort of kind of there the other years as well. But for example, New York has come back from the bottom of the list almost, let's say, and Dubai is still improving and climbing up the ladders, we can say. So what kind of travel patterns can we see here? How do people research online, or when they research for a trip? How often do they research, for example, on a destination? How many flight comparisons do they do, for example? That helps us as well to predict certain level of arrivals, visits to a certain destination. And somewhat going back to the slide before, how successful certain campaigns obviously have been or are becoming, and how they're obviously shifting the spotlight to certain destinations. That is always giving us a boost, sort of. And if we are hotelier in any of these destinations or close by, how you can actually profit from that and see the impact of those kind of data when we compare obviously data that is developed throughout the year, not only for a particular high or low season. We can see here as well that there's a lot more rise in urban destinations compared to resort destinations. And I have another slide as well that I would like to share here. If we're separating sort of the searches for countries versus city, which are the 5 popular ones between September and December now, so the last quarter of the year when people maybe plan their holidays for Christmas, etc. So we can see that Spain, UK, Italy, France, Germany are the top destinations in Europe at the moment. But if we look at the city destinations, it's a little bit of a different picture. We can see London, then again Dubai is there, Paris, also Istanbul and Madrid. So how can certain destinations rise and some destinations, let's say, fall? Sometimes very quickly. And those are the kind of key informations and the right balance that we need to look at as a hotelier. So we monitor those kind of changes in the travel research and demand. Also, we can see easier what Antonio was saying before as well, to predict certain trends, what type of travelers are now looking more for a certain destination or less. And that could help us as well for forecasting and saying as well as sort of an establishment or growth of a certain reputation of a destination. If it's becoming more popular, that's something we can, of course, try to capitalize on. If we're thinking again on sustainability too, how we transfer certain destinations into more sustainable and smart destinations becoming very critical as well. So this type of data management analysis is becoming difficult to manage just, let's say, for a tourism authority or a government. Hoteliers or people within the hospitality industry and businesses need also, let's say, step up to the plate there, or would like to have a seat at the table and participate more in that to help shift those kind of perspectives, let's say. And it helps us not only to obviously market destinations better or help us to, say, find a sort of gap or niche in the market for us as a hotelier, but also overall as well. It enhances certain opportunities within the tourism industry overall that will help us to, let's say, predict something that is going to be very upcoming soon, 2024, 2025. What are the new sort of things we should keep a lookout for and identify as soon as possible in order to anticipate a certain demand. If we also look at comparison, let's say, of trends and other powers of data, if we're looking more into the business side of things and, let's say, revenue growths that we would like to obviously see, and what kind of particular hotel products, let's say, if we're looking into luxury, upper middle class, economy, mid-scale, etc., how now, let's say, growing faster compared to others. So as I said before, we can see more of a rise in urban properties and destinations rather than in resorts, which probably has to do again with, as we mentioned before, economic factors, inflation, cost of living crisis, and that sort of thing, when people maybe now more think of a weekend city break rather than a long holiday somewhere in a resort, that might obviously impact their budget more, or have smaller breaks throughout the year rather than just one big holiday. If they can not do that, if they have to break up their holidays and their travel. And if we think about maybe as an investor as well, in what type of business should I now invest into, we can see, based on, again, pent-up demand and revenge travel due to COVID and the pandemic, that certain hotel businesses obviously do a lot better here. For example, the upscale market or mid-scale market is somewhat more favorable, let's say, than the pure luxury or the pure economic one. That's quite interesting as well to see and monitor over a certain, let's say, time frame, a couple of years, or even breaking it down over a comparison between only 2 different years, in order to see how these kind of trends develop and how this shapes the industry and the business decisions we also make in this particular aspect. So to see as well, like, how hotel companies manage that, or how they look at that, I just wanted to put a few viewpoints here on that slide to say, okay, how does Marriott, for example, do it, as well as, let's say, Starwood and Hyatt, because they say we are collecting a lot of information, we're collecting big data, and maybe sometimes we can say we're over collecting even to an extent. So what type of information and what volume of information is necessary for us to do a good demand forecast, or to do a good set of prices, if we do a pricing strategy for the coming year. So for example, Marriott says here that they obviously use a lot of price scanning services to understand how customers respond to certain prices they would like to offer. So they can obviously understand a $5, $10 gap or euro gap might already have an impact in some positioning within the market. Starwood, as we can see here as well, says that they need to take other factors, more external factors into consideration, economic factors, other events that are obviously on a global scale, if it's, for example, the FIFA World Cup, or the Formula 1 racing, or Olympic Games, if we're looking at Paris next year, 2024, that sort of major events that also obviously shape certain destinations. Weather reports as well is quite interesting, how we can monitor the weather forecast for our destination versus the destination of our main customer base, where the majority of our customers come from in terms of segmentation. How a bad weather right now, let's say, sort of thinking about winter in some of the northern parts of Europe already, let's say where it's snowing, will maybe drive demand to a hotel here in the south of Spain, because we still have very sunny and quite warm weather. People now starting to research, oh, if we go over the weekend now, we can go to south of Spain, we can have a few more days of sun, etc., etc. So how that can also boost your revenue, and a certain, let's say, demand could be modified and shifted. Hyatt, for example, here said we are trying to, let's say, zoom out a little bit. We want a bit more of a holistic approach. They're going to implement, let's say, a data analysis and kind of research team on a corporate level that will sort of support the hotels to deal with the amount of data that they're facing, and trying to, let's say, sort of break it down into more consumable bits and pieces that are more manageable for us to actually make a business decision. So we're not only struggling and overproducing sort of data as well. So I would like to focus just on the main 3 type of data, I think, that are the most important one to always have a look at, to always be aware of in your business, sort of on a dashboard, screenshot, sort of daily review, let's say. So what is basically generating demand for you? What external factors do you need to look at? The competition, yes, market conditions, how positionings have changed, new products entering into the market, or new types of guests, as we heard from Antonio Gomez as well, so that we're that aware of sort of what is going on around us. But then on the inside as well, what does our business show us? What does our business on the books look like right now versus sort of last year, the same time, or last month, last 6 months? So we try to have a reasonable time frame and period that we look at. We don't try to zoom in too much or zoom out too much at the same time, not to lose the focus. So how could we now, let's say, accelerate a pickup? How can we get more interest in from our customers on a much more local, let's say, sort of basis? Apart from seasonality, also understand a bit the stay patterns of your guests. What's maybe the average lead time, the average stay of your guests? Could you, let's say, manipulate that in getting a guest that usually stays 2 nights into staying 3 nights? What sort of promotion hook you could throw them in order to get them engaged with that, and looking into extending their stay, or obviously, let's say, stay sort of more often, for example, as well. So we could say there's key elements and key terms, as we always use the words, as we say, market insight. So like we said before as well, Susanna mentioned it, understand your guests, understand what value do they need, what are they looking for, what is the most important to them, how you interact with those guest expectations. Use benchmarking to identify what is specific to you, what data, let's say, speaks for you, and where you can obviously identify a gap, let's say, towards competitors, and how can you bridge that, how can you overcome it, how can you come closer to a better level of service or a better, let's say, reputation, image, NPS, etc. These are very much important key terms that we need to look into, because revenue management or business management overall is very important on the standing that we have in the market, the reputation, image, and how that will lead us to, like I said before, spot certain trends and give us some future opportunities and insight on how we could, let's say, be the first one jumping on the train and getting the most out of it in terms of customers and also eventually revenue. So there's certain technology that also supports us as a hotelier with more AI-driven information-based systems or automated systems that give you some sort of a prediction of what could be the next move in terms of your pricing strategy or in terms of your revenue management strategy. And obviously that is the amount of data that you need to feed to the system. It could always give you the best possible scenario, the worst possible scenario, so you need to find a good balance in that. There's always a lot of human input we need to put into that. We can't just only, let's say, believe into the technology in that regard. We can also rethink a little bit the way we analyze the data or collect it. We can, as in a classical sense, just do it by hotel department, but maybe we can regroup things as well and categorize them differently, maybe under guest experience or revenue management or sales marketing strategy, etc. So maybe we can see different angles as well and see where we could use a bit more data, or maybe we can actually also look into a little bit less in terms of volume in order to drive better certain opportunities that we're missing right now. So like I have here a couple of points, just like how can we pre-sell a couple of more services? How can we engage our guests to purchase more while they're in the hotel, or engage them in getting add-ons, like I said, adding an additional night or adding additional services previously to that. So we can need to just, let's say, balance and justify the volume and the amount of data that we use in the different sources as well. I think that's probably key, that we are always sometimes too focused or too narrow-minded in a sense into one particular set of data or source even. We need to, let's say, open different doors and mix and match it a bit more to get a better overall picture that will sort of guide us into the right direction in that regard. So I just would like to conclude the presentation quickly, since we have talked about so many things today. It was all very, very interesting. Obviously, the appreciation, let's say, and the gratitude we have for the collaboration with SweetPad here at La Roche, because we do believe that those sort of innovations, technology advances are crucial for our students to showcase that in the classroom as much as possible, to let them get their hands onto the tablet, because SweetPad was kind enough to sponsor us a tablet here in school, so they can log into the dashboard, they can see how things can be created in terms of content, they could see a revenue report or the heat map, sort of when customers click on certain services or when they request things, when they're ordering services and if they're chatting with us and all of that. So that will produce us internal data as well that is variable insights for the guest experience. So the exposure of our students to this is absolutely crucial, and we're very thankful to give them this opportunity. And of course, the feedback has been tremendously positive. They have all enjoyed the little activities that we prepare for them depending on the semester, and they get their hands on the technology. They can first experience a bit as a guest, and then they can see it as well as a hotelier, how that is important for them to use, and let's see, to be always a step ahead in those kind of innovations. And that's basically all at this moment from our side. I don't know if we still have time, Emily, to do the poll question, or if we're just way behind already, or to ask
Yes,
any.
we absolutely have time for the poll question.
Okay,
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah, so for everyone here, we will show you on your screen a poll question right now. We will also give you some time to answer them right now. Choose your following answers, and then we will discuss it with the La Roche team. Julia, do you see the answers to the
at the moment. Hold on. Yes, now I do. Yes, sorry. Here we are. Okay.
Great.
Cutting edge technology integration, seamless tech-driven guest journey, innovative trends, and technology service. Okay. My personal option would always been seamless in terms of guest journey. I think that is always, at least in my personal opinion, one of my key arguments that I tell the students, but also from my personal experience in working in industry, is it needs to all run smooth. And obviously we understand that sometimes there might be small technical glitches or hiccups sort of thing. But from my point of view, as soon as technology starts to interfere, let's say too much, and I'm exaggerating right now, in terms of the guest journey, and it's becoming too complicated for them to actually get to where they need to be, then we need to probably tone it down a lot. And we need to use technology as a support tool, still enforce, let's say, as much as possible, the human interaction between our staff and our guests. And the technology should be just a nice touch, a sort of nice little surprise, nice, let's say, oh wow, and you have this and I can do that and that sort of thing. It should obviously make things easier rather than difficult. So I would have been in the 20% if I would have chosen that just now.
I love the result because I think that speaks very, very clearly of how important the trends or how relevant or how everybody wants to be on top of the trends. But then at the same time, they worry about the integration with everything else that you have, because sometimes you are in a way stuck with the things that you already do in a certain way and the systems that you already have. So how do I integrate the trends that are really interesting and also what I have right now? So I think that's the nice, like I said, that's the nice balance, and that's the question that I think we should be asking ourselves before we put anything in the business. Yes, if it's going to interfere and make things more complicated, just stop. And sometimes the technology is there to not be noticed at all. So if it becomes a bother, an obstacle, forget about it. So you need other ways. Yeah, but I love the answers, the combination of 40-40, because I think that reflects a lot the main worries in the industry. Yeah, I love it.
I
Totally
think we
agree
also
with
have maybe
both of you.
one question we can quickly go through. We have just a few minutes for that. So for the audience as well, mainly for the team, how can hospitality industry have a harmonious balance between digital transformation of guest experiences and preserving the human touch?
Yeah, I think that the summary is, if it adds value to customers, go ahead. And or customers or to the process or to the employees, that therefore is going to add value to customers. So if it creates if it mirrors at least the experience that customers have in their own homes, at least that is the minimum that you should offer in the rooms. And then everything additional is if it adds value somehow. What that value is the complicated part, because it includes a lot of things, but that value is going to depend on your customer, on your segment, on who you serve. And maybe value for some people is to be able to pick up the phone and talk to somebody. Then that's it. Or maybe for somebody, for your guest, is right the opposite. Is I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to handle everything with my phone. So it depends. So I think it all comes down to understanding what is value for your customers and make sure that everything that you do regarding innovation and integration and technology adds to that value.
Great. Thank you so much, Susanna. So I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Julia, Antonia, and Susanna, and thank you also to everyone who joined us live. We want to say thank you and see you maybe in the next webinar right after the break at 3 p.m. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the next webinar, Empowering Room Autonomy, the Future of Guest Experience. Today, I am joined by Zenios Zeniu from Desk Setters. This webinar will take about an hour in total, and we would really like to hear from you today as well. So don't hesitate to ask your questions using the question chat window in your control panel that you see, and we will try to answer them at the Q&A session. We will also be recording this webinar, so you will receive a copy in the next few days. Now, without further delay, I will pass it over to you, Zenios. Enjoy the webinar, everybody.
Hello, Emily. Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes,
Yes?
very
Okay,
well.
great. Great. I have a confirmation that you can hear me. I'm Zenios. I'm coming to you from Athens, Greece. Today we're going to talk about a very interesting topic that has to do with room autonomy. I'll get to it in a minute. First of all, I would like to thank once again SweetPad for giving me the chance to be again with you and having the opportunity to share with you my knowledge or my expertise in what we do. Let me share my screen so that you can, okay, here is a presentation. So I trust now that, yes, I trust that you're able to see the full screen. So our topic today is has to do with kind of the next generation or the future or the next era of guest experience that has to do with room autonomy. And when we say autonomy, we mean room independence, guests that want to feel on their own or have more options that can allow them to adjust their holidays or their travels as they wish. So before starting explaining all the presentation that we have prepared for you today, I would just like to introduce myself. So I'm Zenios, and I am from the company Desk Setters. Actually, I'm the co-founder of Desk Setters. Desk Setters is a marketing strategy company that focuses on specifying hotels, new hotel investments from the beginning in order to create a consistent hotel product that will have the right typology and, of course, the right concept and narrative that will make the entire experience unique, stand out from the competition, and, of course, create a product, a hotel product that will be like no one else. So with this background, I come to you today and I speak to you about room autonomy, which is a very important field in the new era of hotels, as I explained earlier. So these are the topics that we're going to discuss today. First of all, we're going to talk about the new age of hotels, the factors that led to the rising of the hotel autonomy trend. Next, we're going to discuss the hotel automation, and I will give you, I will make the separation of the terms autonomy and automation because they're similar words and they might cause some confusion. Later on, I have prepared a slide to explain the difference. And in the second part, we're going to analyze the modern technologies that enhance the hotel's efficiency and, of course, the guest experience. In the third part of the presentation, we're going to talk about the room autonomy, which is the main topic, of course, of the webinar, and present the facilities and technologies, of course, and the services that create an autonomous and independent room experience. And finally, at the final part of my presentation, we're going to present two case studies just to discuss a little bit about the different types of hotels that are being independent, autonomous, and understand what we mean and how this term and how this new era can be applied practically in hotel products globally. So let's start with the first part of the presentation, which is called the new age of hotels, and we're going to see the factors that have led to the rising of the hotel room autonomy trend. It is a fact that over the past few years, we are seeing a rising trend for independent hotels dependent stays or features that enhance the independent feeling, the autonomous feeling in a hotel stay, either for business or for leisure. And this trend comes now more than 5 or 6 years. It's not something that is after the age of COVID, of the pandemic. However, it's a very interesting thing to see how the different factors have all contributed to coming today and talking about a new era and a new age of hotels. So the first factor that we are going to talk about is the rise of Airbnb and the self-catering accommodation models. So over the past 10, 12 years, we have seen a huge growth of Airbnb and similar products, but Airbnb, of course, is the leading platform. We're not, of course, advertising or showcasing here these platforms, but we must understand and we must realize how this platform, how this philosophy of traveling through Airbnb has changed actually the whole hotel philosophy. What I mean here. So the original concept of Airbnb was to stay in a local house and so on, and be more autonomous, independent, and feel like a local. So you go to the supermarket, get your own groceries, go back to the apartment, maybe cook your meal, have your kitchen, your dining area, your living room, and so on. So this trend, of course, it was very popular, let's say 5 or 6 years ago. Now it is still popular, but it has changed a little bit. So we are seeing Airbnbs now becoming more and more hotels with more upgraded design, and they're not anymore the house of the locals, but they are properties that have been created for this really specific reason. And on the other hand, which is the most interesting in our case where we're discussing today, we see hotels trying to get closer to the Airbnb philosophy or to the self-catering philosophy, if you want. However, still being hotels. So especially in cities, especially when we're talking about city hotels, this trend is rising, is booming over the past, let's say, 3 or 4 years. So we're seeing new hotel chains. We'll see some examples later on the case study section. We're seeing even hotel chains that are being specified and developed as hotels that are also self-catering properties and provide even 100% autonomy, which means that I can go there. It feels like I'm staying in an apartment, but I'm actually staying at the hotel. So I have my service, but I'm also independent. So it's a very interesting hybrid model of new hotels, which you can see especially in big cities in Europe. Here I have some quotes under each factor that are related to each topic. So here we say that adapting to the evolving guest preferences and the gradual convergence of the short-term rental in the hotel sector necessitates adopting solutions that empower guests with greater autonomy. So this is very important to keep in mind. Let's go to the second factor, the post-pandemic effects of the global hotel industry. So when COVID began, well, not when it began, but as it was evolving and we began to slowly travel again and so on, people were looking for independent places to stay where they would have the minimum possible interaction with other people and be on their own practically. And back then, maybe some studies showed, or with some discussions were about that, okay, this will stay and the hotels will now die because everyone will want to stay in autonomous villas or independent apartments and so on. And nobody will want service from now on. However, as the year passed, and since last year that we have been back to as normal as our daily lives can be, we see that the need for service has not decreased but increased. People are searching for service during their holidays or their trips in general. They're eager for service in any category they travel. So, but at the same time, the concept and the idea of independency in my hotel room still remains. So on one hand, we have the need for service, but on the other hand, we have the trend of indeed having independent elements in my stay at my hotel, even though I'm staying at the hotel. So this factor also contributes creating this hybrid model that I told you earlier, and that creates the new age of hotels. So here at the quote, we say COVID-19 redefined the traveler's journey, escalating the desire for minimal contact without compromising service quality. It spotlighted, let me just move here. It spotlighted the delicate balance between personal space and impeccable service, reshaping the hospitality landscape forever. And this is a fact. This is a fact that we're seeing in our research searches that COVID has brought some changes, very significant changes, that in many cases are not as they were expected when the pandemic was beginning back in 2020. And moving on to the third factor is the rapid development of hotel automations. So the rapid development of technology, which over the past 5 years has been largely applied on hotels and on hotel automations, has led to this trend and has allowed this trend to rise even more, because automations, and we will see that in a deep analysis in the next pages of the presentation, helps a lot a property to become more independent, and the guest, of course, to feel more autonomous during their stay. So, and especially over the past year or maybe less, with all this evolution of the AI in our lives, the big coming of AI in our lives, all this is and is expected to be a major factor that will shape the next phase of the hotels. So the quote here says, automation has ushered in a new era for hospitality, enable hotels to craft seamless, automated guest experiences, streamline operations with an efficiency previously unattainable, redefining the essence of modern service. So you see that we want to be more independent because of the Airbnb. At the same time, we need a service that, even though COVID has enhanced the need for more independent stays, it has also brought back the need for people for more service. And at the same time, we have the automations, the technology, the AI that helps all this become one and indeed provide a high level of hotel autonomy and independence in the hotel rooms. So let's talk now about hotel automations, because that third factor, as I told you, is very important because it facilitates the whole procedure and makes it possible, actually, makes it possible to talk about a hotel that can be truly independent, and even talk about hotels that are 100% independent, still being hotels and not rental apartments or Airbnb type of properties. But before I will do this clarification of the two terms that I told you earlier, the term autonomy and the term automation. You see that these two words are very similar between them. They both origin from Greek, so I am able to give you maybe an even more in-depth explanation. So that first little word you see in both words, the word automatic, automation, and so on, means αυτό in Greek, which means by myself, or yeah, it means self. Okay, so autonomy is actually the quality, this is the definition here, the quality or state of being self-governing or self-determining. So I am on my own, I decide on my own, I act on my own. I am autonomous. I'm not depending on anyone to get into my room, to order food, to eat in my room, to open a bottle of wine, have a glass of wine in my room. I don't depend on the hotel service. I don't depend on anyone. I am autonomous. I am on my own. Okay. Now, On the other hand, the word automation is a combination of, once again, the word auto, which means self, but in this case, we're talking about the use of technology, in particular, machinery and systems and so on, with minimal human intervention. It means that everything is happening automatically. So it's happening on their own. Okay, that's why we call it automation. It's happening on its own without me being having to interact or interfere with that process. So autonomy and automation might sound similar. They are not the same word. They have completely different meanings. However, in this case that we're talking about, they blend together in order to create the new age of hotels that we're discussing and the new era of hotel stays and properties. I hope it was clear enough. So let's talk about the dominant trends in hotel automations. Some of you might know some of these trends. You might have seen them already as professionals or even as travelers. However, I want to emphasize the major trends in hotel automation, because these are the ones, or some of the ones, that are going to dominate even more in the coming years. So first of all, we have the AI self-service and chatbots. So AI technology, even especially with the latest advancements, can be enriched with all the information about the hotel and can provide accurate answers to any requests of our guests prior to their arrival or even during their stay in our hotels, without having a member of the staff manually replying to people about their questions and so on. And we also have the addition of visual IVR. IVR is the interactive voice response, which uses also images that even help even more the interaction with the chatbot and help the user, the traveler, get more accurate information, 100% reply to their needs. So this is a service that we will see in the next years coming more and more strong, not only in the website where you get in and you ask a few questions before booking, but also during the stay at the hotel. The next trend that we see rising and dominating in the next few years, and of course, when I say dominating, I'm not talking about 100% of the hotel, of course, but dominating in hotels that are following this trend and want to belong to this more autonomous and automated and independent type of properties. So the next trend is the remote mobile check-in and self-check-in kiosks, which means that in some cases, especially once again in city hotels in major European cities, I can do the check-in on my phone when I land on the new city, or when I'm on my couch. I get the access code to my room, or even get the mobile key on my phone or even on my watch, so that when I get to the property, I go in, I don't see anyone. I find my room, I scan my watch, I enter my passcode, and I get in the room without having any plastic key cards or having someone on the reception to do all the process of checking, giving me the card, and so on. So this is a feature that is rising rapidly, and actually, I have trouble remembering the last time I stayed at the hotel in Europe, in a city of Europe, of course, and I didn't have my access key or my code a week before coming to the hotel. So it's something that is already here, and it will be even more intense in the next years. And finally, the smart home features and controls, which help the hotels become more home-like, but not so much in the cozy. Of course, we want that as well, but home-like in the meaning of a modern house that is automated in a very large degree, and you can control everything with your key, with your watch, with your key, not your key, with your mobile phone, with your watch, with a board on the wall that can control the light and so on. So all these controls help the hotels feel more familiar. Of course, they enhance their experience, but also they facilitate the hotel's operations and enhance its sustainable positioning. Because all these automated systems, in addition to being, fancy or helping the guests feel more relaxed, like opening the curtains, using their phones, or changing the lights from the in-room tablet, and so on. It also helps hotels. They also help hotels have a central monitoring of the energy consumption of the property, to see what air conditioning has been left open, or what lights have been left open, and there's no reason to be turned on, and they're able to control more efficiently the energy, but also the procedures in their property. So these smart features in a hotel, or the KNX systems and so on, are useful both for the travelers and for the hotels as well. So here, Emily, if you can help us, we have the first poll that we want to share with you, which says, which do you think will be the most important hotel automations in the next 1 or 2 years? We have 6 options here. I'm afraid Emily has put only 5 because the system has some limits. So which are the most important, do you think, will be the most important hotel automations in the next 1 or 2 years? So keyless entry, in-room tablets like SweetPad, smart home devices, contactless check-in, or digital concierge. So let's see what you will answer in this case. I'm very interested to see your replies, because when we get your results, I will go to the next slide, where we will see the results of a survey that has been conducted in hoteliers globally from a company. I don't remember the name. I will see it in a minute. I will tell you. We'll see the results of the hoteliers as well. So I have the results here. We have keyless entry, contactless check-in, and digital concierge, all tying up with 33%, and no one has voted for in-room tablets and smart home devices. Okay, that's very interesting. Thank you very much, Emily, for your assistance. And let's go and see what the hoteliers have replied about this topic. So the survey has been conducted by the company Operto. And here we have the results. So have keyless entry with almost 80%, in-room tablets, no, well, no, not percent, sorry, that was the number of answers, in-room tablets, smart home devices, contactless check-in, which is the most popular in this case, digital concierge, virtual room service. So you see that the most popular, once again, is the contactless check-in. As I told you before, I agree with this answer. I think it would be something that would be very powerful in the next years to come. Keyless entry, it's like it's an extension of the contactless check-in situation, because when I do a contactless check-in, of course, I get my keyless entry with a code or my phone and so on. And the smart home devices, controls, and the virtual room assistance. That's also very interesting and very important to evaluate. So the thing is that hoteliers are expecting these trends, these automations becoming more and more powerful over the next years. Now, let's move on. So automations, and why I'm giving such a great emphasis on them, is a sector, is a type of asset that can be very helpful for a hotel, not just for the guest experience, but also reduce a number of costs in our hotel. I told you before about the energy and water management costs, which is the second point here, but I also implied the labor costs that we have and the staff errors, because we need less people to be in front of a computer answering the questions of a guest, because we have AI that will be able to do that for our guests. We have less people, we need less people working for the check-in and all this pre-arriving procedure, because we can automate the procedure, and the guests will receive automated emails with the information, the needed documents from the hotel for the check-in, but also automated sending of the keys to the wallets of their phones, or even the codes for entering their rooms. So, and of course, this eliminates or minimizes errors that can be made by a staff member that was not very well trained or very well informed about something. Automations can also reduce administrative costs. We only need to think about a contemporary PMS at the hotel that can organize all the operation of the property and have a central point of reference when it comes to the daily operations of a property. At the same aspect, we have maintenance and resource consumption costs, and of course, inventory management costs, because all this can be this information can be uploaded in the various systems, and these systems can help us automate our procedures, our needs, our maintenance, and so on. Yes, so let's move on. Oh, here we have another poll, which I dare to call a big question, because based on what I told you before, there comes a big question in front of us. Can hotel automations replace the need for certain hotel staff positions? Is it something that you see happening in the next years? Can we replace our entire staff with machines and with robots or chatbots? Is it something that you see coming, or at least, as I say here, some certain hotel positions, not all of them, regardless of what you like or not? I mean, because some of you might like the 100% automation and autonomy, others might say, no, we need people to be more involved in the daily operations of the hotel, in the interaction with the guests and so on. But regardless of that, what do you think will happen, or what do you think is possible to happen with all this hotel automation? So let's see the results. Here are the results. Yes, it's 29%. No, it's 71%. Very interesting. I was expecting a yes, to be honest. I was expecting the yes to dominate here. Now, from my point of view, I think here the answer is yes, but not as I told you before, it's something that we want or wish or will be applied or can be applied to our properties, but it's something that is able to be and is already happening. So there are some positions in the hotel that can be replaced or minimized. So if earlier you needed, let's say, 3 people to cover that seat, that position, maybe now you need 1, because you have automations, AI, and so on, helping the hotel run the same operations with less cost, less effort, and more efficiently. And of course, the staff that you have for that position is able to do more efficiently their job, and increase the entire operation, the entire process, and this will reflect on the guest experience as well. So I will say yes, automations can replace or minimize or lower the need for certain hotel staff positions, but at the same time, I will come and answer to myself and say that staff interaction will always be crucial for a hotel, for any type of hotel, even for hotels that are 100% dependent and automated, like the hotels in the cities of Europe that I have already mentioned several times today. Even at that properties where you literally go in the hotel, you scan your phone, you get in your room, you stay there for 5 days, and then you leave the hotel without seeing a person. Even at that cases, the staff interaction is very, very important and crucial for a hotel, but not in a typical way, but in different forms of interaction. What I mean here, there is always a need, even at these very automated hotels, to have a way of communicating with a member of the staff. Either this is via the in-room tablet or via a chat service like WhatsApp or similar services, I mentioned messages and so on. It's always necessary to be able to reach a person, a human being, that will be able to answer your questions or solve a problem. And this is exactly what we say here. These are 3 indicative reasons. There are many, many more reasons, but here we brought just 3 indicative reasons. Number 1, personalized service and emotional connection. There are types of hotels that being able to meet your host, to meet the people working at the property are an integral part of the experience. If I go at a hotel, let's say here in Greece, at a small property with 15 or 20 rooms run by a family, which there the breakfast is prepared every day by the mother of the family, and the service is being by the 2 daughters of the family, and the father is always there to help you find the places to go to the destination, explore the island, and so on. If we're talking about this type of hotel, even though we can have certain automations in our room and some independent features also, it's 100% vital to have this human interaction, daily interaction, in order to reach the expected and the desired experience. And of course, create the personalization that we need in certain types of hotels. Number 2, handling complex or sensitive situations. Let's face it, AI can be enriched with many information about the hotel, know every detail about how we operate, how we can solve a typical problem, and so on. Let's say our air conditioning is broken. No AI can fix it because it has an operation. We have teach it to do it. Okay, but when we have a sensitive problem, when we have a sensitive situation, a complex situation that we need to handle it, machines and AI are not able to address these issues, at least yet. So here, once again, we need to have the possibility of interacting with a human being. And number 3, it's what differentiates hotels from apartments. So here we're talking about hotels and not the Airbnb that we talked at the beginning, or an independent villa and so on. And we need to have this interaction with the guest. However, if you remember at the beginning of the presentation, I told you that the Airbnb and independent villas and apartments and so on are also trying to reach the concept of hotel-like experience. So even at that type of properties, we have this option of interacting with a human being and finding solutions to anything that might come up during a guest stay at the property. So yes, hotel staff can be not replaced, but as I told you, lower the need for specific positions, but it's always vital to have a lower or higher or maximum levels of interaction with your guests at the hotel. Let's see now the necessary steps towards a more automated hotel experience, just to help you understand if your hotel is a hotel that wants, can, needs, should become a more automated property, or is it something that you don't need? So first of all, before evaluating all the systems and available technologies and so on, we need to see if this is something that our concept, our property concept, our location, and our values as owners, if this is something that we want to do to our hotel. I gave you before 2 examples. On one hand, we have a city hotel in Berlin, let's say, where I can go, be completely 100% independent, stay there for 5 days, see no one, and be very happy because it's a city hotel. I'm on business travel, so I just want to go do my job, sleep, have a nice room, have the service that I need, and then go back. That's okay. But if I have a hotel, like the other example I told you before, on a Greek island with a small family and so on, this automation can be applied to a level. It cannot be 100% automated. Okay, it will be difficult to adopt in certain cases. So we need to evaluate our concept and what we want to do and what expresses and covers our personal but also business needs when running our hotel. So the number 2 is guest preferences and interest trend analysis. So we need to evaluate and see, first of all, do people coming to our destination, are people coming to our destination looking for this type of properties? Are they looking for more automated hotel experience? Are my audiences, my core audiences, able to adopt to this? Because if I have a hotel that attracts more silver age customers, once again, the how do you say, the extended automation and independence might not be the best way to go. Okay, so we always need to see what our guests say and what our guests expect from our destination and our hotel. Technology assessment and cost analysis. So if we say that, yes, okay, we can do a little bit or a lot of hotel automation to our hotels, we need to see what we have already and how much this will cost to our property, not just the implementation, but also the cost of operation, maintenance, and so on. Operational efficiency and staff impact. So we need to see once again how this will be applied to our hotel and how it will affect our staff, and if they will need additional training and adaptation to this new situation. Of course they will. Safety, compliance, and sustainability. We need to check that we have made sure that we are 100% complying with legal standards, because all these automations sometimes, many times, receive sensitive information from the guests. So topics of GDPR, especially if you're in Europe and so on, are very important to check and make sure that we are covering all this. And of course, testing and constant improvement to our systems in order to be working seamlessly and without any problems. No one wants technology that does not deliver what it promises. So if you tell me that I can open my curtains in the morning using my phone, I want to be able to do that. If the system stacks every day, or if it does not respond, or if it gets a loading roll on my screen, that's not something I want. So we need to be able that everything works seamlessly always. So after discussing all these hotel automations that are being applied in the hotels over the past years, we have a new question rising up. Are they enough? Are these hotel automations enough to create an autonomous room experience? Or do we need more things? Because we talked about many, and we will see now a little bit more, many things that will enhance our autonomy in the hotel. But is this enough? Let's see. To be able to recognize the tools required to create an autonomous room experience, you need to look further than a modern home. Make a list of the technologies and facilities a modern home uses and incorporate them in your hotel rooms. So yes, it's not just about the technology, it's also about facilities, and it's also about services that will shape a contemporary independent stay at a hotel and not in a villa or in an apartment, which is 100% autonomous. So here we're talking about hotels. Let's see now some more specific, even more specific examples of in-room automations that create an autonomous room experience. For example, we have comfort and control, smart thermostats, automated window shades, voice-controlled room assistants. Alexa and Siri are getting more and more into hotels. And actually, I think Apple is developing, and Amazon also with Alexa, but I think Apple is now developing a special, I don't know, part of Siri that will be 100% applied on hotels only. In-room tablets, of course, like SweetPad. Going to the right, we have entertainment, smart TVs with streaming services. Very important to be able to stream whatever I do in my home, and I see Netflix or YouTube or Hulu or anything that I watch in my home. I want to see it in the hotel as well. High-speed Wi-Fi, of course, Bluetooth speaker and sound systems, virtual reality experiences. Virtual reality is something that it's not now popular, but with all these headsets and VR that is coming to the world from next year, I think it will be something that over the next 5-6 years will find its way to get in the hotel experience more intensely. I am anxious to see what where this will go. Now, safety and security issues, digital room keys, which in some cases are considered more safe than having a plastic card that I might lose and get back to my hotel late at night and have my key card and so on. In-room safes with digital logs, surveillance and monitoring systems, and emergency alert systems. And energy efficiency, automated energy management systems that we discussed before, which is very important for the hotel's sustainable profile and positioning in the market. Water-saving fixtures, smart lighting systems, all this can be applied in the room as well. Eco-friendly appliances. So all these can be not only included in the hotel room, but also explained to the guest and let them know that by using this smart lighting system that has these specifications, or by making the guests use less water or the necessary water for their daily stay at the hotel, this helps for the protection of the planet and for enhancing the sustainability of the destination and so on. So all this can be, and much more, can be applied to a hotel room. There are automations that will make the guests feel, as I told you before, familiar, that will increase the guest experience, and they will create this feeling of autonomy. I'm on my own. I can do anything on my own using the technology. But it's not just that. We have more things that will enhance the independence in a hotel room experience. And we have, first of all, the room facilities. So in addition to the technologies, let's say we can have mini smart kitchens with the necessary equipment. So we're not talking about the old type of kitchenettes, all these, 20 years ago kitchens in the hotel rooms. We're talking about maybe microwave, or maybe a kettler, or the possibility of me being able to prepare a very quick meal if I want to, even if I am staying at the hotel, and also being able, to have the necessary equipment there, easy to reach and easy to use. So if I want to, if I bought a bottle of wine from a wine shop in a city I'm staying, and I go back to my room, I want to be able to find 2 wine glasses and a wine opener in my room so that I can enjoy my my wine. Or if I bought, let's say, some fruit from a market in the city, I want to be able to have a sink where I can wash them, and a bowl to put them in, and a knife to cut and enjoy them. So this necessary equipment is something that you can find in an Airbnb, and as the years pass, you expect to find in certain types of hotels, which are becoming more and more daily. In addition to that, or on an extension to that, we have the upgraded mini bars. So mini bars are no longer and must no longer be considered as, those boring small fridges with 2 bottles of water or empty, or with these typical products, the mass products that we can find in any supermarket or in any kiosk or mini market anywhere in the world. No, let's bring the mini bars to their new era. Let's enrich them with local products. Let's go to our local producers and find local beers, local sodas, refreshments, some nuts, chips, potato chips that are being made by small businesses there in our region, or sweets, desserts, whatever is being produced in our region. This way, we allow the guests to have the independence of being able to try something in their room, but not just to cover a need. I'm thirsty, I will drink something, but to create the anticipation and say, okay, I want to try this local beer to see how it tastes. Let's try this local wine to see what wines we have here, because I don't have time to go to a winery. But yeah, the hotel gives me a wine. I can enjoy it here. I can try it here. I have my wine opener, I have my glasses, and I can sit on my balcony and drink it. And of course, this means more money, more profit for the hotel as well. So minibar, smart kitchens, very important to enhance the gastronomy or the food experience in the hotel. That will make me feel, of course, more autonomous. And to cover fully the need for the food experience, we have to have in-room dining areas, either indoors and outdoors if we have outdoor spaces in our rooms as well. So this food, the minibar, or the food that I prepared in my microwave, maybe I need to have a space, or the food that has been delivered to me from the hotel or from a nearby restaurant at my room. In my room, I want to be able to enjoy it in a designated space that says, okay, here you can eat. And even if you have very small rooms and you don't have space to put a dining table or a corner or a bench or something, you can use those trays, the trays that you can place on the bed, which have the stands, and you can tell to your guests that, okay, you can eat here. Back in 2018, I think I was in Stockholm in a hotel, and when I got in the room, it was a very small room, like 16 or 12 square meters, I don't remember. When I got in the room, there was one of these trays on the bed with a leaflet of the pizza house, which was situated next door, next to the hotel. And it was urging me, if I'm hungry, to order a pizza from that place, to enjoy it in my room, on that tray, in my bed. And of course, then the same evening, I did that. I ordered a pizza. I ate it on my bed, and I took the experience that was predefined for me by the hotel in the optimum level. So you don't have to have a big dining area in your hotel, but you can find clever ways to bring this sense of independence to your guests. The fourth one, the bottom left, says big packaging amenities that last longer. So this covers two needs, three. Number one, no more small plastic bottles in the hotel rooms. This is bad for the environment. It's bad for your financials, because it's very expensive, and it's also not a nice image to do this, this very tiny amount of shampoo, which the next day is empty, and maybe the housekeeper forgot to replace it, and so on. So let's use big bottles of amenities that the guests are able to enjoy the amount they want, whenever they want, and also they can be able to buy them maybe at the hotel shop during their checkout, because they have a very nice smell. They're from a local factory that produces them, and so on, and bring them back home. This is something that I have also done in hotels in Vienna. I bought the how do you say, the shampoo when leaving from the hotel. And the last one is designated area for in-room activities. So we want people to be able to do more things in their hotel, in their hotel rooms. Either this is the TV screens that I told you before, where they can watch their movies. Either this is a projector where they can watch a movie in a huge size, in a huge dimension. Or this can be a reading corner with a small library and a very nice cozy place with a very nice view, where you can sit, enjoy a book, and read a book and enjoy the view below the window. Or even a very small gym or gym equipment in your room, or wellness corners that will allow me to do some basic workout without having to go to the gym, either of the hotel or in the city in general. So I must be able to do more in my room in order to feel more independent and autonomous. And let's see quickly some services that can increase the guest autonomy. We have the room delivery service, which includes breakfast, which means that the food is being delivered in my room without the room service philosophy of the past. Housekeeping rooms and stations, where the guests can go and maybe find on their own a clean sheet or a clean towel. Let's say I'm staying at the hotel and my towel is dirty. In order, instead of sending a message or going to the reception or waiting for a clean towel, I can bring the dirty one in the housekeeping room and get a fresh one for myself. This is something that is being done from Numa hotels that we will see in a second. On-demand housekeeping, so we can remove housekeeping daily, but say that if you want housekeeping, we can do it for you, either for free or for an extra charge. Automated wake-up calls and alarms. No need to call the reception and ask for a wake-up call and so on. Self-checkout shops, it's also very important to be able to go to the lobby or to the entrance, buy something that they want without having to have a staff member there. I will pay with my card, with my phone, and go back to my room. And 24/7 access spaces like gyms, where I go in using my code or my mobile access key. And hotel-wide water stations is something that I have seen in Hilton hotels, city hotels, which is very interesting. Across the corridors, you find spots where you can refill your glass bottles of water, either still or sparkling, even get ice, and so on. So all these services increase my feeling of autonomy and independence. And let's go back, let's go to the last section of the presentation, because I see it here that we have 10 more minutes. So we're going to talk here about two case studies. The first case study is about a hotel that is 100% independent and autonomous. And this hotel chain actually is a hotel chain called Numa Stays. I'm sure if some of you are from Berlin or Vienna or Brussels and so on, know this chain. It's a hotel chain that is focusing on exactly what I told you before. These are the hotels that I stayed in, and I didn't see a single person during my entire stay there. They had we did the check-in before arriving. We had the access code. We got in the building. We got in our rooms. We had the housekeeping room I told you before, where when they change the sheet that got dirty. We had some basic equipment of a mini kitchen type of in our rooms that made us feel more independent, and we actually did that at night. So their idea here is that they have managed to digitize over 80% of their internal processes, from booking and room allocation to housekeeping, accounting, and more. So it's a hotel that is almost entirely automated and provides an autonomous experience to its guests. So the check-in procedure is fully automated. The room keys, of course, are digital. We have upgraded design with plenty customizable spaces for in-room activities for work or leisure, and a digital travel guide that also helps guests discover the area without having to have a human concierge and so on. I have here some indicative images. You see that this is the hotel, I think, in Berlin, one of the hotels in Berlin. It's a hotel. It's something to say, okay, this is a very nice hotel in the city. You see the dining table over there. You see the desk on the left, but you also see this mini kitchen with the microwave, the kettle, the Nespresso machine, the small sink, the wine glasses, and so on. And here also you have a bigger dining table, a bigger kitchen. It's a different type of room in this Numa hotel, and so on. So in this case, we are 100%, almost 100% automated and autonomous, and we don't have any services other than the on-request housekeeping if someone needs it. But the second case study is about the hotel that the setters we have specified here in Greece. It's located in a small city in Western Greece, Preveza, and was created with the concept of creating independent city-like homes in a small town in the Greek countryside, with modern facilities and amenities that further enhance the in-hotel experiences. So in this case, we have independent apartments and room types. They're independent with full-size kitchens. You will see some pictures later on. But we also have a number of common use grounds that can provide additional service and experiences to the guests. So with this example, I want to tell you that when we say about an automated and autonomous hotel, it doesn't mean that we have to be like Numa necessarily. We can be a hotel that combines and creates the hybrid model that I told you before. So in this case, we have the welcome lounge, we have the pool and bar, we have a central pool and a bar, we have the backyard barbecue facility that every Sunday the property does a barbecue for the guests, the wellness area, the laundry space where we can go and do our laundry and also get the fresh towels and sheets, and also playground for the kids to play. These are some services. We have reception, room service, housekeeping, private chef, and maid services. So we're talking about a hotel experience that provides also a series of signature experiences that can be found only here, like the marine barbecue, Here in Brevesite, it's a city close to the sea, so we have a lot of fish. So we're doing marine barbecue every Sunday, not meat, but fish and seafood. We have garden massages, so we have kiosks that a guest can, on request, ask for a massage. And we also have lemon fruit picking once a week during the time of the year when the lemons are ready, where guests can take part in the lemon fruit picking because our landscape has a lot of lemon trees and will be enriched in the next years. So in this case, this is some pictures of the hotel. You see the lemon trees here by the pool. And this is the kitchen of the apartment. You see that it's a full-size kitchen. However, this hotel has also that series of common use spaces and facilities with minimized and limited personnel and staff. Of course, we're not talking about a fully serviced and fully operating hotel with high costs, but again, it's in position to provide high-end and high-level hotel type service to its guests. A tip would be to embrace this new era of hotels, to adjust our hotels and our operations and our philosophy to the amount of these automations and autonomy that is necessary for our property. We don't all have to be the same, of course, and we need to see exactly what we want to offer in order to how do you say, to cover the needs of our concept. It's very important that everything we do stays in line with our concept, our philosophy, our principles, our values as hoteliers, and being updated and aligning with the age and with the the new trends and so on, but always being in line with our concept and our philosophy. So with that comment, I would like to thank you all for attending today the webinar, and I hope to see you soon in a similar event.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Zenios, for the super presentation. And from me as well, thank you for everyone who joined us live. Again, if you have questions, I will definitely send them over to Zenios so he can answer them. And on behalf of Zenios and the SweetPad team, thank you for joining us, and see you maybe in the next webinar after the break at 4:10 p.m. Central European Time.
Bye.
Bye. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Mastering Digital Guest Communication in the Hotel Room. And I am joined by Miltos, that you can see here. This webinar will take about 45 minutes in total, and we would really like to hear from you today. So don't hesitate to ask your questions using the control panel here you see to your right, and we will try to answer them in the Q&A session. Last reminder also, we will be recording this whole event, so you will each receive a copy of this recording in the next few days. And now I will pass it over to you, Miltos. Enjoy the webinar.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you also for the introduction. If you can give me presenters' rights, I can also share my screen. Hello, everybody. My name is Miltos Karanzimas. I'm a director of key accounts here at SweetPad, and I'll do the webinar of I have this slot of mastering digital guest communication in the hotel room. So I'll show you how you can engage with your guests using technology while they are in the room. I'll show you what we do at SweetPad. Of course, we're gonna do it a little bit interactive. We have some polls. 1 second, let me also share my screen so you can see exactly what I see. Yeah, so as I said, welcome to the Mastering Digital Guest Communication in the Hotel Room. We have a short agenda for today. We're going to talk about how you can digitize your services. That's one part. Then we're going to see some ways where you can increase room revenue from different revenue streams at the hotel. Ways that you can reduce costs, and believe me, there are plenty of ways you can reduce costs, and a little bit of how you can receive feedback from your guests while they're staying at the hotel. So during stay feedback, not after stay feedback, which is the most common and most hotels are doing. Before we start, I would like to kick off the webinar with a poll. So with the help of Emily, we're going to ask you a question, and we're going to start by analyzing and discussing the answers that you will give. So the question is, how do you currently communicate with your guests while they are in the hotel? So Emily, if you can help me here with the poll, that's going to be great. Exactly. So what kind of solutions are you currently using in your hotel for guest communication? Let's have like 30 seconds till you guys select your option. And it's going to be very interesting because I would like to see your choices and then discuss about it. Um, we usually have different outcomes. There are, as you see here, we have hotel room TV, in-room tablets, mobile applications, mobile websites. They are the web apps, QR code or a link that you can give, or nothing at all, nothing digital at all. So there are hotels that are not using technology or they haven't digitized their services, let's say, and there so they have traditional ways of communicating with their guests. So here is the results. Hotel room to be 50% of the attendants. They have a hotel room. They have a TV that they try to communicate with their guests via a TV. Probably there's a smart TV, I guess. Mobile website. A lot of people and nothing digital at all. 25%. Okay, so let's analyze a little bit case by case. So the hotel apps were very popular, I would say 20 years ago, because people were downloading it a lot. It was something new in the market. The huge disadvantage of mobile apps is that people are not downloading any anymore on their personal mobile phones. The global percentage, the global download rate is less than 50%. So we don't want to download all apps of every business, of every company we have business with. That's why if a hotel is if using only an app, they're actually losing a huge percentage of their clientele. They're not able to communicate digitally with them. I would say that's the same, a little bit better. The percentage is a little bit better for the web apps because you don't have to download anything. It's just a QR code or a link, but still we see that the engagement is very, very low. People are not willing to use their personal phones in order to communicate digitally with the hotel. Maybe it's because most of the times they have to set the notifications. They have to, if it's an app, they have to download it, uninstall it if they leave the hotel, and all these matters that occur. Smart TVs, that's a different story. Smart TVs is a very good digital option because the hardware is already at the hotel, at the room hotel. It's a large screen where you can showcase and you can present options and services and you can promote a lot of the services that a hotel has. However, there is a disadvantage there because it doesn't create a two-way communication. It's really hard to book something or book an order, for example, like a room service order via the TV remote control. So you only show stuff to your guests, but it's really, really hard actually to make them book something directly. Tablets, that's a different case. And with this, I mean, SweetPad is investing in tablets. We did that on purpose because we think that the tablet has and the presentations that we create within the hardware, the tablet the in-room tablet, creates high engagement for guests. It's a portable device. The screen is 3 times larger than a mobile phone, and if you have, as I said in the smart TVs as well, if you have a large screen, then you're able to promote better your stuff. Content is really important. But what we do is that we create the presentations of each hotel in a way, and all the services that the hotel has in a way that we indulge your guests to make bookings and to order services that you may have. Next step, I would like to do a demo. So I would like to show you a real-time presentation of how we do it in SweetPad, and then you will realize exactly how we work, and also how you can digitize your services via an in-room tablet. So this is a demo device. This is a demo hotel, a pilot hotel, let's say, that has lots of information inside them. This is what the guest sees. This is the front page of the tablet. You can have different languages. Let's select English for now, and you will see that we are redirected into a presentation. I will scroll down a bit so you can see a lot of options and a lot of tiles that we have and how we build every presentation for every hotel. Every hotel has a customized presentation. We do that differently, meeting the needs of every hotelier. I will only focus on the main options, and as you saw in the agenda in the beginning, in how we can make more, how we can drive revenue, how we can reduce costs, and also how we can receive live feedback from our guests. So increase in-room revenue, which is a very important factor. And if you digitize your services, this is of course something that you want your digital solution to have and provide you. Let me show you how we do it via the tablet. So we have a nice tile here, which is called order room service. And if I click it, if let's say I'm a guest and I'm staying in room 105, we have incorporated the whole room service menu here on the left side. I select the category that I want, and I see photos, descriptions, prices. I can select the item I like. Let's say this one. I can also get a bottle. Let's also get a bottle of wine. Everything is added in my cart, and now I can click continue. This is the summary of my shopping cart. This is what I ordered. This is how much I will pay. I can also leave a message. Please bring me an extra whatever. And by clicking continue, the hotel instantly gets a message that says room 105 has ordered room service, and these are the items that they selected. Straightforward, very easy way for your guests to order room service. But it's not only the room service. We have also other options. The other options where we also create them in a nice shopping category, like the one you saw for the room service. Even if it's spa treatments, tours, transfers, late checkout, rent a car, everything that you have as a revenue stream, we're able to create for you a specific tile and a specific shopping category for it. For example, wellness center. Again, the guest can click here. They can find all the treatments and the therapies that you have. Let's say I'm interested in this one, which is a full body massage. I click it. I get a pop-up message with more information. This is how long it lasts. This is how much it costs. A small description. And now, as a guest, I can request it. And I can schedule it for today, or I can schedule it for another day, like tomorrow. And now, again, by clicking continue, a notification will go directly to the person who is responsible for the wellness center. You can get the notification in various ways. So first and the easiest way is to get an email. So every time someone orders something, a dedicated email goes to the specific person who is responsible for the orders. If it's a room service, it can go to the kitchen, or it can go to the room service manager, for example. If it's a pillow menu, it can go to the reception. If it's a spa treatment, it can go to the responsible of the spa center. A second way you can get notified is an SMS in a mobile phone in case someone is not in front of a computer. A third way is also a voicemail. So if a phone rings, it can be an internal phone, it can be a mobile phone, and you're notified that you have an order. These are the ways that you can get notified if we don't integrate with the PMS system of the hotel. If we do connect with the PMS system of the hotel, then the notifications also are automatically included in the PMS of the hotel. We do direct integrations, and you can also have that way of communicating with your guests also. But also, let me show you some other ways. We have late checkout here, which is also a very good revenue driver. All information will be on the tablet. Your guests can see how much they will pay if they select a late checkout. Of course, it's upon availability, but a straight notification will go to the reception and it will say that room 105, they ask for a late checkout. And if you have availability, you can respond and automatically a pop-up message will go to room 105 informing your guests that yes, your request has been confirmed. Now, let's distinguish between a confirmation and a request. If someone makes a room service order, that's a confirmed order. If they do a request for a spa treatment, that's a request. Instead of having requests for the spa center, for example, what we can do is that we can also integrate with any third-party providers that they can check real time the availability and the slots that are available for treatments, and your guests can easily find in real time what is available and book it directly. Same goes for the F&B outlets that you have. We also promote the restaurant and the bars that you have, and I will show you a nice example. Opening hours, depending if you have lots of outlets, all opening hours and information of every outlet will be listed here. The menu is also going to be here from all the restaurants, and also you can either use our way to ask your guests for a table reservation, which is a pop-up window that appears, and the guests can, for example, they can tell that we are 3 people coming today at 6:20, or instead of that, we can integrate with the widget of every company you are working with, like OpenTable, for example, or The Fork. And these companies are software companies that they know exactly which table is available in every time slot. And then instead of request, it's actually a confirmed booking for a table in the restaurant. So there are a lot of other ways that you can increase your revenue. I'm not gonna spend too much time here. I would like to pass to the next subject, which is how we can help hoteliers via in-room tablet save costs. One of the easiest way that we can say is that we can digitize all paper material that you have in the room. So all paper collateral, the room directory, the guest directory, flyers, menu leaflets, all type paper that you have in the room. Of course, you can throw them away. You have no printing costs anymore. You're a more digital. You can offer a digital way to your guests, and you're more eco-friendly as well. If I click hotel information, you can see that we have a nice message from the hotel, and then guest. If I click guest A to Z, we have the whole room directory from A to Z, and your guests can find everything they want here. There's a nice search button as well. So that's one way that you can minimize your costs, of course, mostly by eliminating all the papers in the room and reducing printing costs. But what I think is more important and more crucial, and even better to reduce your costs, is a cool feature that we have, which is called green option. So a nice pop-up window appears and asks your guests if they want to skip room cleaning for the next day for ecological reasons. And by doing that, you're also stating your ecological responsibility. So skipping room cleaning means that you're also saving cleaning costs. Every time that a room has to be cleaned, there are costs involved: detergents, supply, energy, amenities, labor costs, everything that is involved in cleaning a room. You will actually save that because the guest will be able via the tablet to select if they want you to clean the room, or if they want you to skip room cleaning. And every time they do that, the housekeeping team will get a list, a report every morning. They know exactly which room selected not to clean the room, and then they can do the schedule accordingly. Before we move into the third option, again, I would like to ask Emily to help me out here for the second poll that we have, where we ask you, how do you receive feedback from your guests? As you see, we have three options here. We ask feedback during stay, uh, after stay, or we don't gather feedback at all. So there are many ways that you can do that. I can link the way that people are asking for feedback with the digitization, and we see lots of hotels that they have these papers in the room where ask guests to fill in and give feedback to the hotel. I would say this is very outdated. Not a lot of people are filling in these papers. Also, it's not ecological, and moving all the feedback procedure via the tablet, it's definitely giving you a competitive advantage and faster way to get feedback from your guests. So yes, as I was expecting, 83% they're asking feedback after stay. Asking feedback for after stay, of course, it's not bad if you don't have any other solution. However, the disadvantage is that you're not able to save a bad experience and also save a future bad review that will probably end up in TripAdvisor, Booking.com, or Expedia.com. A very clever way that you can ask feedback during stay is via our solution and via in-room tablets. We have a dedicated tile here about feedback. You can either send it as a pop-up message to your guests. It appears like this. It's a very nice quick feedback. They don't have to lose time. In 5 seconds, you know exactly if something is going wrong or if they're happy about it. If something goes wrong, you have the opportunity to save a bad experience, as I said before, and leave your guests satisfied. So you know that when they leave the hotel, they will probably give you a positive review, or at least you will save a negative review, and you don't want that to end up in ODA's platform where lots of people are booking. Also, the questionnaire can be customized. We can also integrate with a lot of other companies, software companies that are doing reviews like Review Pro, and you can get the analytics exactly from there. I would like to show you some presentations that we have, so you can see how we built the presentations for every hotel. And I would also like to show you the length of customization. So you show the demo hotel that we have. Now you will see a live example and you will realize how we build every presentation per hotel. And we do that, as I said before, in order to meet the needs of every hotel, because every hotel has different needs. So this is the Shangri-La, the Shard in London. This is the front page. This is what the guest sees when they open the tablet. And if I click welcome, then I'm redirected into another kind of presentation. It's totally different. As we see here, the hotel decided to promote mostly their F&B outlets. That's why we have a lot of options regarding restaurants and bars. And here is a very nice example of a pop-up message. We also have a cloud-based admin panel, which I will show you in a minute, where you can also do marketing activities. You can send pop-up messages either to all the rooms, or you can select a bunch of rooms, or to a selected room, to one room, and you can send a notification. The tablet lights, and it creates an incentive to your guests to find out what happened and who is sending me messages. And the messages can vary from feedback, asking them from a feedback, informing them about an offer that you have, a happy hour in the bar, or just informing them about the weather next day. You can also pre-schedule these messages so they pop up automatically. So you don't for the next 6 months ahead, you can automate it in the system, and you know that every day at noon an offer for the restaurant is being sent, every afternoon a happy hour in the bar or a transfer option, and you know that every day you have these pop-up messages reoccurring. And of course you have a full set of data. You know exactly who clicked every who click them, who actually moved one step further, because you can also include links or action buttons in order to drive revenue and in order to drive orders directly from the messages. This is how it looks like. This is a demo of the cloud-based admin panel we have. We also train our partners on the admin panel. They have 100% access to change the whole presentation. If they want to upload a new menu, if they want to change prices, if they want to change photos or a new service from the menu, they can do whatever they want. From the tile which is called push, they can do the marketing activities as I just showed you. From orders, you have a full overview of all orders, regardless the department, per room, per hour, or per category. So you can have a browser open and you know which room ordered what in which category. And here in the dashboard, we have a full set of statistics. You can also customize the dates, if it's monthly or daily, or you can see the usage of the tablets. You can have nice business insights. You can see page views. You can see average time the guest spends per tablet, and you can also see how much revenue you made per category. So it's a very nice data tool for you to find out. If I go back to the presentation, we still have some time, so I would like also to show you some other nice features that we have. One is, for example, extra hotel services. Again, as I said before, the tablet in the room is like having a concierge in the room. It's very important for your guests to have all information and everything written here, so they don't call the reception all the time, and you can save time, save phone calls from the reception. So laundry, the price list is going to be here. Mini bar, again with the price list. You don't need to have paper in the room with the prices. Pillow menu, if someone wants to order another pillow, and if, for example, if I click that and I order it, that will go directly to the housekeeping department, and they're notified that X room wants to change a pillow. The tablet can also become a phone, so our device can also replace other devices in the room. One device that we can replace is the telephone set. You can have internal calls like room to room and room to reception calls via our tablet, or even external calls if we connect with the hotel's PBX telephone system. Also, we can also replace the TV remote control. That's another device that we can replace, and the tablet can control the TV. We have an infrared blaster built in our hardware tablet, and the guest can control the TV from the tablet. Why do we replace those two devices? Because they are the dirtiest devices in the room. The TV remote control and the telephone set. With all these small buttons, it's really hard to disinfect these devices. And we've seen that from multiple studies that the guests are very hesitant to touch the telephone set or the remote control, mostly because they're very dirty. Loyalty program. If the hotel has a loyalty a bonus program, of course, you can connect that. We can promote that. You can collect the emails of your guests, and you can send them newsletters. And one of the last thing I want to show you, which is really nice and cool, is a hotel shop. We can also create a hotel shop for you, and you can promote products, either your products or from a local store, and you can sell them directly from the tablet. Emily, I don't want to waste more time here. I would like to go on the Q&A if we have more questions. Can you check the chat if we have questions?
Yes, sure, of course. So far, we have nothing yet. It may come about a little bit later, maybe at the end of the presentation, once you finish up everything.
Of course. All right. So some other features that we have, and they're really nice for your guests while they are in the room, is, of course, that the tablet can work as a normal tablet, and they can surf the internet as if it was a domestic normal tablet. By clicking Scan Me, a browser opens. Your guests can log into Instagram, to Facebook. They cannot download anything, and also all personal data are wiped out automatically. We are GDPR compliant, and every time the guest closes the browser, then everything is lost. So don't worry about the personal data. Activities and sightseeing. You can also inform your guests and recommend them about what they can do in the area. Sightseeing, for example, museums and nice things they can do. You can also pre-schedule from Google Maps specific tours that they can follow, walking tours or bike tours. This is also a very cool recommendation. Events you can have, and also we have a very cool subscription services for newspapers, and your guests are able to read more than 400 titles of magazines and newspapers directly via the tablet. So we are working with Golden Key Media. We have different languages. All magazines are updated daily, and all newspapers as well. So let me also show you how it looks like. So here we have the newspapers. As you see, they're the most popular newspapers. And if I click magazines, we also can see magazines. As I said, everything is updated daily. We have it in different languages, and just by clicking, the guest is able to read it from the tablet. Emily, I think we are okay with the basic stuff of presentation. Of course, if anyone of the attendees is willing, wants to have a proper demonstration, we can do an online demo for them. We can show them exactly how we work. We can show them examples of other hotels, how we build presentations, and discuss about the business models that we have.
Yes.
Just a small mention that we have a very nice business model where we have two actually business models. One is a standard model where you have to buy the hardware and pay monthly fee for the software, but there is also an option to get everything, hardware and software, for free, so there's no upfront costs. And we work on a performance-based model. So if our tablets are able to save you some money, or if we're able to increase your revenue, then and only then we get paid. It's everything upon performance. But we can discuss that on a separate discussion with whoever is interested.
Yes, actually, there was then a question about the pricing. So you already touched up on that. If you think it would make sense, Miltos, to get a little bit deeper into that type of business model, or we can go into the next question. It's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I can elaborate a little bit more. So our performance-based model is actually for hotels that we used to have that for global chains and local chains, so for large hotels, but we're able now to provide it now that for also to hotels that have above 40 rooms and above. And what we do there is that we ship all tablets. Every room will have its own tablet with a docking station. We also create for free. Of course, you don't pay. The hotels do not have to pay anything. We also create a customized presentation for the hotel according to the needs and according to what the hotel wants to promote. Again, for free. We give access to our cloud-based admin panel and also training on that, and the hotel hasn't paid anything. As I said, we work on a monthly basis depending on the performance driver that we have selected. One of the performance drivers, for example, is the green option, which I showed you before. It's this one here, and depends the cleaning fees that the hotel will actually save. So every time a hotel saves cleaning fees, then per month, monthly, we calculate how many clicks we had via the tablet, how much money the hotel saved, and then we also find the model that we get also a percentage of that. to cover our expenses. And that's the only driver. We're not working on multiple performance drivers. So if we work with the green option, then all the other revenues that you can have from room service, transfers, late checkout, spa treatments are 100% of the hotels. We help hotels maximize their revenue. We don't get a commission out of that. We only work with one performance driver per time.
Great, thank you so much. We do have one last question for today. It is about the integration. So someone is asking, what are the integration options?
Yeah, so as I said before, we can integrate with a lot of third-party companies, be it PMS, POS, GRMIS, review software. So everything that is web-based, we can easily integrate in a matter of seconds. If it's an API integration, we need to see the technical requirements, but in general, yes, we integrate and we have a lot of synergies. We have lots of hotels that are interested on in-room controls. So if the hotel has smart switches, we can also integrate with the supplier, and the guest is able to control the room via the tablet. They can control the blinders, the lights, the air conditioning, the music. They can do a lot of things. As far as PMS, we integrate with the most popular PMSs like Opera, like Protel, like Muse, and other companies as well, POS systems as well. Yeah, so we have a technical and the development team where is able to check which integration you need, and of course we can discuss the technical requirements, but we do that, yeah.
Great, thank you for answering the questions. So far, that was it. So I guess that's all the time we will have today for this webinar. Thank you again, Miltos, for the presentation, and thank you to everyone who joined us live. If you do have any remaining questions, don't forget to add them to the feedback survey that'll show up after you close the window. We will be happy to answer any questions. But for now, thank you again, and see you in the next and last webinar after the break at 5:10 p.m. Central European Time.
Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. For the last time, welcome to the last webinar of Guestx, Tech Forward Hospitality, Unleashing the Power of Digitalization. We are joined now by Jonathan, the owner of Cedar Manor Hotel, and Tillman, the co-founder and managing director of SweetPad. This last webinar will take about 45 minutes in total, and we would really like to hear from you once again. So don't hesitate to ask your questions using the question chat window on your control panel, and we will try to answer them during the Q&A session. So without further delay, I will hand it over to you, Tillman and Jonathan. Everyone, enjoy the webinar.
Well, thank you so much, Emily, for the introduction, and welcome, Jonathan. We're really honored to have you here today on today's webinar. Excited to get to talk about how you guys do digitalization over at the Cedar Manor. If you don't know the Cedar Manor, go look it up. It is a fantastic hotel in the UK's Lake District. And Jonathan, owner operator at Cedar Manor. You guys have won numerous awards, including, I looked this up, the Silver Award for B&B and Guest House of the Year, Visit England's Awards for Excellence 2023, the Good Hotels Editor's Choice 2023, and Cumbria Tourism Award Guest House of the Year 2022. Congratulations, that's quite the feat, Jonathan.
Yeah, we were delighted to be recognised. It's always good. It's lovely for the team, great for us. Even the customers get excited, so it can't be bad. We're overall very delighted to be acknowledged.
Great stuff. Yeah. So, Jonathan, it's such a pleasure to talk. And before we get into a bunch of the questions of how you do digitalization over at Cedar Manor, tell us a little bit about the history of the house itself. It looks like a great manor.
Okay, so in the picture you're showing, you can see the frontage. It's an old Victorian house. built approximately in 1854 as a private residence, as a lot of the big houses were in this area in those times. And it stayed in private hands for over 100 years, and then was sold out of the estate, because there was some huge estates in the Lake District, and it was sold out probably as an unwanted, rundown property. And it was bought up by an older couple in the 1960s who made it into a small guest house. It was originally called St Mary's Cottage. We've got a church next door to us, St Mary's, so that was how it became named, St Mary's Cottage. And they ran it for nearly 20 years, just as a very informal bed and breakfast. People could come and stay for a night or two, or they could stay longer if they wanted. And then the next owners came along in 1980. They had it for 25 years. They took it from 4 rooms to 11. And then it's our turn. And we came along in 2007, and we started our journey with the Cedar Manor, which has been fantastic. I would like to say all ups, but there's obviously going to be a hiccup occasionally.
I think we have hoteliers in the webinar today. I think most of them know of the ups and of the downs, especially the recent years.
You can't avoid the odd hiccup, the odd down.
Great. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on, Jonathan. And yeah, my name is Tillman. I'm one of the 2 co-founders here at SweetPad, and I'll be guiding us through the next half hour or so, talking about digitalization at Cedar Manor and asking Jonathan a bunch of questions.
Fantastic.
Let's get started.
Yeah.
So the whole theme about today's webinar is obviously bridging the gap, digitalization for smaller hotels in this case, and I guess you fit pretty well in that category with the 10, 11 rooms that you just mentioned. Tell us about the kind of challenges you face in a digital age.
It's an interesting question, because I think it comes down a lot to mentality of the owner operators. Most of the smaller businesses like ours are owner operated, and quite often you'll find the information's there if you want it, but you need to be looking for it, actively looking for it. So I'm very much into my tech. I'm into finding out what is good for hotels, and I came from a big hotel background, so I was very much driven with in my mindset like a big hotelier, and it was so I would go to the trade shows and everything like that and find out all the information. And you'll find the small hotel people like myself now, sometimes you don't think you need the technology. You can keep the tradition of keys in locks and leather bound folders in the rooms with all the information, and we've still got all of that. But I like to stay at the forefront of the technology and pick what I think is right for our business moving forward. And I think the challenge is knowing what's right, because there is choices in many arenas of technology, and what's right for your business. What's people are afraid of cost. They're afraid of possibly purchasing the wrong product for their business, which could be a costly mistake. So the information is there. We sign up to Hotel Tech Report and get fantastic information through there, and we've used the Tech Report for many purchases for the hotel, including SweetPad, I have to say. That was one of the reasons. And we've used, because again, we're 300 miles from London, and that London is where most of the trade shows are for us, or even further afield. And being a small hotel, again, it's very hard to detach from the business for a long period of time. Even a day away can be too much. So if we can bring that information back to our businesses and have it in our inbox or on a webinar or face-to-face, like we're doing now, this is what I would call face-to-face nowadays, the challenge is diminished somewhat. You just have to be curious. I think curiosity is the key thing.
I think you're right about that. And for those of you who haven't been to the Cedar Manor and haven't used the SweetPad solution there, what you see there is a screenshot on our screen right now of the solution as we have implemented in the hotel. But today's not only about the SweetPad implementation itself at Cedar Manor. It's about the digitalization as a whole. And what I found interesting was that you said you still have the key, the traditional key fob, not the like a digital lock or anything. Where do you draw the line between technologies to adapt and some to sit out?
I am absolutely desperate for the electronic locks, but my wife is saying no. It's one step too far, and that might be something to do with cost, because we'd have to build new doors and frames. But I think every business owner would know where to draw the line. We're a small, I would say, traditional guest house with a contemporary twist, or small hotel, or even I reluctantly say boutique hotel, because we've interior designed all our rooms to a very high standard, and we've tried to keep the tech simple, so you don't need a manual to understand what to do, because we think that's quite a big turn off for a lot of people. But the traditional side of things, we're still here for face-to-face for anybody that wants it. We don't want people to think SweetPad is the only way they can find information. We want them to come and talk to us. That's our role in the business. We've stayed in some very clever places where you wave your hand in the air and the lights come on. That's just not for us. We've still got light switches by the side of the bed and a kettle, right? And we have Nespresso makers, but even that could be one step too far for some of our guests. But everybody's challenged. I think whether you're 20 or 80, an espresso machine can bamboozle people. But it's just the gentle transition between one tradition and technologically advanced and modern. And I think if you watch what your guests are doing, we were very aware in our lounges that people were sitting there for the last 10 years with mobile phones from all age ranges. They were there with tablets, and we knew we were ready for tablets here. We knew it wasn't going to be a problem. And so you just have to know your customer and your business, I think, to know where the line can be drawn. And you can help them, you can teach them.
Yeah, actually, I like that approach, because it also is what we are about. When we were starting out SweetPad, we heard a lot of reservations around, hey, look, am I not getting rid of personal communication and substituting it with technology? Isn't that making it completely impersonal? We said back then, no, we don't believe so, because you can use this as an add-on. You just have to watch what your guests are doing. We're happy now that these points are a decade old, and that in the meantime standards have been established, and examples like you at Cedar Manor also show that it is very well possible to stay in touch with guests and still offer technology. And I liked your example as well with the light switch, because I'm a huge fan of light switches. You will not find many light switches on SweetPad unless it's for turning all off. In some cases, we do not have, we don't try to replace everything that we can just because it's possible. It's about what your guests want. And if I'm in a hotel room, I'm looking for one light switch, and that is all on, all off. I don't know if you've had that experience, but you're in the business hotel, you fall into bed, and then there's some light at the end of the other end of the room that you just cannot seem to get off. It's not the best way.
It's not the best way, and the worst is if you're needing to get up in the middle of the night and you push the wrong light. You wave your hand in the wrong direction, and every light in the room comes on.
Depending if your wife is along, that could be an issue.
Yeah, exactly.
So we talked a little bit about the reasons for digitizing, and also where you draw the line where it makes sense and may not. What kind of technologies do you use now at Cedar Manor? So staff and guests, like what kind of channels do you have to communicate with each other?
With the guests, we use our PMS initially, which when they do their bookings, it sends out the confirmation and reconfirmation and pre-arrival emails, and that's when we link to SweetPad initially, because we've got the BYOD part of it all set up. So It means they get an insight into the hotel information prior to arrival. They can pick that information up from the website. But we know now that people are a little lazy, and if you don't feed them a link, they might not go looking. So that link is there for them to embrace. And we know when they arrive that probably 20% have maybe read our pre-arrival email properly, and we can track a little bit of the traffic that we're getting onto SweetPad from there. And the others, they know they've got it and they can use it. We'll tell them on the way to the room, because we're still personally checking people in and taking them to the room and showing them around the hotel a little bit. We'll tell them that information's there for them to use while they're here, because the way we've set up SweetPad, we also have some information about restaurants within there. We've got our restaurant directory. In the hotel information, we link out to a couple of walking apps, so that if they're going hiking in the fells, they can download some routes straight to their phone. So there's loads of information within SweetPad that we like them to be able to pick up at that point. The next way that we would be talking to them is through the push notifications that we have built in. So we've got a few little reminders set up so that they get pinged maybe 6 p.m. the night before they go. Just a gentle reminder that checkout is by 11 a.m. tomorrow. And if we haven't seen them at 11 a.m. the next day, maybe at about 20 past 11, it sends them another notification saying, really don't want to rush you, but so there's gentle little reminders that appear there, and we use SweetPad for everything like that. Other points where we can talk to people through SweetPad is we embraced SweetPad at the time when it was, I think it was 2 years ago, because we were going to replace our phone system, and the phones were going to come out of the rooms. And rather than investing in another costly phone system, we wanted to pick up a device that could have the room information and the phone system all built in. So guests can call us from SweetPad and we can call them. So 2 birds with 1 stone, less stuff on the bedside table, just a nice sleek tablet, and jobs are good and for us with that. They also have functionality there to ring reception, to ring the kitchen. They can order food and beverage through the tablet, and it sends us a message not only by email, it rings our phone and tells us very politely to go and have a look and see what orders have come through. So there's multiple ways of communication, and we use, really, apart from a chatbot on our website, we just use the SweetPad for talking to our guests. We're not forcing them to use it. We're telling them it's there instead of the hotel phone. It's there instead of the old room information folders. And we have a couple of messages up on our TV screens, again, pointing them straight at it, telling them that's where you're going to find everything you need to know. If you don't want to use it, Jonathan's downstairs ready to answer any of your questions.
Well, that's one of the luxuries, I guess, of staying at a hotel with 10 rooms, that if in doubt, ask Jonathan.
If in doubt, ask me. Yeah, I can pretty much help them with anything. I'm not very good at mechanics on cars, but I can certainly do anything else.
And I think it's also an interesting point that you make with the replacing the phone system, because that ties into basically also the last question on this page here, is the way we didn't realize this at first when we got started, was that we would be able to replace phones over time. This is, when we got started, we kind of saw the technology, but fewer of the use cases, when it became apparent to us that we would be able to take phones out. And when we also learned what a phone system would cost if you got a new one these days, we realized, hey, so maybe over VoIP systems we could actually offer something that is really worthwhile to our customers. And is that then also how you justify then the initial investment? Is that the route you went?
Oh, completely. Our phone system was up for renewal, so we either had to to buy out the one we had. And there was absolutely nothing wrong with it, but we knew that analog phone systems were over. I think we're less than 18 months from the end, and we were all ready to go to a new system. And I'd seen you guys presenting during COVID, and I had a follow-up email from the marketing team saying, you know, we'd seen you 12 months ago at one of our webinars, and we haven't heard from you since. Is there anything we can assist with? Because I did follow up with quite a few questions. And I'm like, you've just come to me at the right moment, because yes, there is something you can assist with. We're going to be ditching the phone system, and how can we bring it into SweetPad? Will it work? And then we went through the process of how it all works. And actually, you guys were brilliant. You sent us out a tablet for us to test here, and it went to the people that are going to be looking after our phone system for them to test to make sure it would work. And everything worked perfectly. So I was delighted. The process was very, very speedy and very responsive. And the good part of it was that for a while, your tech team dealt with my phone team, my phone line team, and I didn't get involved because it was one grade above the tech that I was understanding.
I think we share that. I don't quite always understand what is happening there either, but happy to hear that it went well in that case, and also, of course, you know, happy to hear that one of our webinars was actually the reason we got in touch. That's great.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was something that I think I've mentioned before that I had seen in another hotel, probably back in 2017-18. I hadn't seen SweetPad. I'd seen our tablet on a bedside, and it was attached by a cord, and they were, I think it was in the early days of when tablets were being introduced, and I thought to myself, if that was done properly, I'd have it. And because I'm always one for having something that's useful, you know, and if it's simple tech, that's the way forward for me. And oh, it had been on my wish list for a long time. Then COVID happened, and we had to react very quickly. And then coming out of the other end of it, all the stars aligned and everything was ready. And I'd seen your webinar, and I could see that it was the right system for us.
Great to hear. And if anyone is wondering, we do not have cords to attach to SweetPads. That is what you're looking for. Wrong tree right here. Not the one to bark up.
Yeah, no cords. I can happily report that none of them have gone astray either.
Good. It can happen, of course. It can happen. We typically expect something like 2%, 1 to 2%, depending on also in various factors of devices that may be subject to theft. But it's rare enough, and 1 to 2% is going to take a while in a 10-room property, so
yeah,
per year.
I'm almost certain it would be accidental if it went. You know, I think we've had TV remotes ending up in people's dirty washing bags and stuff like that, and they make their way back to us. They say apologies, it was an error.
That's the best case. So yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the guest experience and the way that digitalization, not only our product, but also the other smart solutions you guys have found to enhance guest experience through the digitalization, really. And let's start with the kind of systems or communication channels that you employ to have staff coordinate with each other, because I have to imagine that when I'm in a 10-bedroom hotel like the Cedar Manor, I would expect very few people to be there, and coordination will likely be key.
Oh, coordination is very straightforward here. We have my wife, who we all regard as our bosses, and she hands us a list every day of what we all have to do. But on the other side of things, we use our mobiles for communicating amongst staff. We've got a WhatsApp group, and we can very quickly organize everything that we need to do through that. But with regards to how we use SweetPad, there's quite a few functions in there that help us organize our day better. So it's pretty much down to, because we're such a small team, and there's me, my wife, a chef, and a couple of housekeepers and some general assistants. We need to know what we're doing in terms of where the guest is, where their movements are, and whether we're housekeeping their rooms, essentially. And they can use the green option to opt out of housekeeping or just have towel replacement. And that's getting used. So that helps us organize our day, because they'll organize that the night before, so we know, oh, do we have to panic and get a part-time housekeeper in, or are we okay with the people we've got? You know, if we've got 10 rooms in, doesn't sound very many, but if we're only running on 1 or 1.5 housekeepers that day, it makes a difference to whether maybe even me, if I'm really lucky, I could get called out into housekeeping. So it just helps you organize your day a lot, knowing what the guests are up to. And the other side of it is for us to communicate back to the guests. I think I mentioned it a little while ago. We really make use of the push messages, which are sending messages to the tablets, and that's really helpful, because we can, if we're having a quiet afternoon and we've baked too many scones, we can bang an offer out in a matter of seconds and say coffee, tea, and scones downstairs. Half price today, and try and use them all up very quickly and not have to eat them all, which would be a tragedy, but it happens occasionally. So really, the in terms of the communication side of things, the having the tablet set up correctly for your individual needs helps you organize your day and helps you. We're not really spying on our guests, but it does give us a clue about where they are and what they're up to, because we use it that way. It's just the way we're set up, and the staff are very good at knowing where people are, and if they can access their room for housekeeping or for a turn down. It's brilliant for room service, because again, they're going to tell us, do they want it in the, we offer room service in the room, or they can bring it down to one of our lounges, so we know where they're going to be. And so again, we get a very good idea about where people are during the day, whether they're here, whether they're out, whether they're going to require food in the evening. So it's very good for us organizing. I'm here pretty much, apart from yesterday, 24/7, so, and I can pick up any of the roles. But it just really does help us a lot for other roles where we, you know, for our normal staff members who are working more regular hours.
Yeah, great. So if you don't mind me asking, how did you do that beforehand?
That's a good question. I can almost not remember.
Phone calls.
Phones, yeah. We would have to just deal with standard rotors, which we still use, and if a guest wanted something, they would ring down and ask for it, pretty much like they probably would do in a lot of places, and they still do that here. Some of them will order an item from the menu, which is available on SweetPad, and the phone rings straight away down here and tells us they've ordered. And almost before I can get to the computer, some of them have rung our doorbell, or they've rung from their mobile and said, "Did you get my order?" And I'm like, I'm going as fast as I can, and I'm trying to get there. So before they've done that, but yeah, we did use a lot of internal phone calls and notes. Again, we must go through a lot of post-it note blocks because we stick them everywhere. We don't anymore, but we used to use a lot of notes just to, again, adjust people's duties during the day and leave them reminders.
Yeah, and Jonathan, what you just mentioned, those are actually two of my favorite features on SweetPad. So I think the push message feature, sending messages up to to the room. That was always an easy one to grasp. Also, when we first started pitching the idea, it always seemed like, oh, of course, yeah, I can get in touch with customers. They can read it on their own time. It's not super obnoxious. It can happen asynchronous. You know, it doesn't have to be answered right away. Someone can be in the shower, then pick up the device if they see that it's lighting up. That's all cool. Everyone sees the benefit in that right away. Something that you mentioned earlier was, in fact, something that we didn't really fall in love with until understanding the true impact, and that is the waiving the housekeeping part, because especially if you're running on low capacity, or if you need to plan your housekeeping capacity for the next day, proactively asking guests if they want to waive housekeeping is something that seems to be working pretty well. And that's I'm happy to hear that you are using it that way, because it's not only good for your operating expenses, it also helps in terms of sustainability.
It does. We regard ourselves as quite a green hotel, and we do follow a sustainable model as much as we can. And the green housekeeping thing, we didn't want it to look to the guests like we were skimping on the service. So we make it completely optional on the tablet, whether they can skip it for a day, the whole stay, whether they want to skip housekeeping you know, they can choose each day basically. And some days they might just want to lie in, you know, they might have gone to a wedding, or they're coming in late, and they just don't want housekeepers banging on their door at 11 o'clock in the morning. They could be, you know, relaxing. So it's really good for the guests to be able to choose this. And we can offer, there's some fantastic things you can do with it. We can offer a reward. We're not trying to buy them out of part of the, you know, the luxury side of people's stay for us is having their bed made and their bath cleaned every day. It's something they don't get at home. And that's really important to some people, and to other people, they don't want you in their room full stop, you know, we respect their privacy. But for us on the green option, we might say to them, you know, if you skip housekeeping today, come and enjoy a cocktail on the bar on us tonight. And, you know, one cocktail leads to 2 to 3, and they get the first one free. And hopefully it's a kind of upsell in a way. We do it a slightly different way. If you skip housekeeping, we ask for our guests to make a small donation to our local conservation charities when they're leaving. If they skip housekeeping during housekeeping stays, we double their donation basically. So we pay something back ourselves. So it's a sort of win-win. Yeah, as you said, everybody's individual, but we like to kind of reward that skip as well, and so they still feel that they're getting something from doing it. Because I know that
very much like that approach.
Yeah,
and
we don't think we're trying to cut costs and
that's the thing, right? You even though you are becoming more efficient in the housekeeping department, can plan your capacities better. It's not about saving the last pence here and there, or last penny. It's just about becoming efficient, and then, as you do, giving back, which I think is great. And as a guest, I would not, you know, I'm not seeing this as a cost-saving measure. I'm seeing this as I get the choice. I'm empowered to make the choice if you guys are coming or not. Because we've all been to hotels where, especially in COVID times, you know, especially in American hotels, I noticed this. You get a piece of paper on check-in, or it's slipped underneath your door, and it just says, by the way, we're not cleaning until you're checking out. Please call the reception if you do want to have a room cleaning. That just feels the wrong way around, at least to us.
Yeah, me too. I think you should be able to opt out rather than opt in.
Yeah. Well, great. I think we have another 5 minutes before we head into our Q&A. So I think with that, it's a good opportunity to pick your brain, Jonathan, on any types of best practices, lessons learned, and advice you would have for the listeners that are here with us today in the webinar.
Okay, best practices. So we wanted to have a clear vision of what we needed to put up on SweetPad when we joined, and it was really, your team was really helpful by showing us a few templates of ideas, so it could get us focused. And it was really important to us to because we knew you guys were going to do the work to start with, and then we'd be freelancing afterwards with support. if we wanted to make adjustments. So we really wanted to think hard about what was in our room folders and what wasn't in our room folders that we would love to have had in there. And that's what we worked on for a good few days before we sent it over to your team to get started. And it all got put together very well, and we did a sort of, I guess we call it an audit. We went through it all, made sure it all flowed, and we got everything we wanted in the right place. And the other side of thing, at the same time, for us, again, your team was very keen to make sure that we had a good strength of Wi-Fi throughout every room, because it wasn't going to work properly without, you know, Wi-Fi. And it gave us a chance to find, we thought we had no Wi-Fi black spots until we went around and tried, and we found a couple. And what was really good was we were able to address that very simply. Our infrastructure was in already. We'd done the cabling, we'd got the access points all over the building, and I thought we had it nailed. And I found 3 rooms out of 10. That's 30%. That's quite a high percentage. Where if you were sat in bed, you hadn't got Wi-Fi, or you hadn't got a good strength of Wi-Fi. So we were able to address that at the same time, move a few things around, throw one more access point in, and then we managed to get up to about 75 or 80% signal strength throughout every room. So it was not only a chance for us to get it right for SweetPad, but also for guests who were sitting in bed, who were scrolling through Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, all of the usual stuff that we can't live without of anymore. And so we realized that, yeah, again, we'd never thought we had a bad signal, but we realized we did. And so that was for best practice. It gave us an exercise in finding out that we didn't think what we thought was right wasn't right. So that would, I guess, be, would that come down to best practice or lesson learned? Probably both.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point you bring up. So for us, Wi-Fi is one of the 2 things we need. We need constant power supply and decent Wi-Fi signal. And we probably could have done with the signal strength that you had in the beginning, but not for the telephony VoIP solution. That's where we need really good signal, especially because in emergencies or even if customers just want to place a call, you really need to have decent Wi-Fi signal there. So yeah. That's cool. What kind of advice would you give to someone looking into guest communication, guest engagement technologies in these days?
I think it's important for all hoteliers to embrace the future. You know, the technology is coming, or has been around for a long time, and we should all be embracing what's there and researching what's right for our own businesses, and understanding that the guests that are coming, whether they're my age, which is above millennial, or whether they're millennials or Gen Z, they're very much in tune. Even the silver surfers, they're even more in tune with technology than you could possibly imagine. But you've got to, in my opinion, keep it very simple, uncomplicated and instruction free. So you don't want to walk into a hotel room and have to have a 15-minute tutorial on how to turn the TV on, the lights on, and fill the bath. It's got to be intuitive. You need to just know straight away how it's going to work. And we all know how to pick a tablet up and scroll. I think 90% of the people in the world would probably know how to do that nowadays. And in terms of any technology, it's got to be kept simple. If you need a degree to figure it out, it shouldn't be there. And I think that's what I wrote down as a note. If it's too hard, don't even go there. Just don't make it hard on yourself, because they'll all be ringing down to the rooms when you're busy doing something else, saying, "I can't figure it out," you know. And the technology should be there to help, not hinder. And that's helping you and helping your guests. I think that's really where my advice is for any technology.
I love that, and I think that is the perfect statement to end this part of the webinar on. Thank you, Jonathan, for that advice. And I think now's the time where we can turn it over to you guys in the webinar here, the viewers. Do we have questions? And I think, Emily, you are the one moderating those, so I'll hand over to you.
Yes, absolutely. So right now, I think we don't really have that much time for any other questions, but of course, if anyone is very interested and still has any questions that were not answered, you can add them to a feedback survey that will show up at the end of the webinar when we close it. So yeah, I think I'm going to end it here, unless either of you have a last thing to say or last tip, last advice.
Well, I have two things to say. First of all, sorry for running over time. I think that was on me then. But secondly, and most importantly, thank you so much, Jonathan, for joining in today, taking the time, and being here. And we're very happy to be your partner. And yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, and thank you guys. And apologies for the light. We had a very small power cut just before we came on, so I'm on a standard lamp rather than the main lights. So I've just seen that I'm a bit dark, but apologies for that.
No worries at all. But yeah, thank you to both of you for the super presentation, and to everyone else also who joined us live, of course. Thank you so much for joining Guestx. Thank you for joining the webinar, and we hope to see you in the next Guestx.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.